Right, and I think we are finally live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Cricket and Forever Sports for today's live watch along. South Africa versus Pakistan. Apologies for starting a little bit late. Got a couple of issues over here. All the load sheet stuff like that really isn't helping with all the internet and getting a stable connection and the likes and stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have no issues though. We've just had the national anthems of the two teams ahead of the start of the T20 series. I'm by myself at the moment, but I'll be joined very shortly by BK. Or if you guys follow the United channel, often has been doing the podcast with me and stuff like that. So we're going to be sitting here and just watching the game, sort of seeing how it goes. And yeah, what should be a very, very interesting series. A very much a second string side for South Africa, given the fact that the test side, the test squad returned to South Africa thinking that they were going to be playing in the against Australia. And just then Australia just decided to pull out, which just completely ruined everything, really. So not ideal, but a nice chance to sort of test the depth. This is a T20 World Cup year. So it's probably a good time to try and look at all the different players. There still are some very good players. But in terms of the teams, let's have a look over here. So for South Africa, we've got Janneman Malan and Reza Hendricks who will open the batting. South Africa's fielding first, though. We've got Jacques Snyman, who's making his debut. Heinrich Klaasen, who's captain, the wicketkeeper, Dave Miller, Dwayne Pretorius, Andile Petlequire, Bjorn Fontaine, Junior Dalla, Luto Sapamla, and Tabré Shamsi. So, you know, somebody like Sapamla, Shamsi, Petlequire, Dwayne Pretorius, Dave Miller, Heinrich Klaasen, Janneman Malan, Reza Hendricks, they're all, Janneman Malan's only had a few casts, but apart from that, quite a lot of experience there in terms of playing international cricket. And then for Pakistan, a much stronger side. You've got Babar Azam, who captains the side, Mohammad Rizwan, Haider Ali, Hassan Talat, Ishfiqur Ahmed, Khurshid Hashar, Mohammad Nawaz, Fahim Ashraf, Usman Qadir, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and Haris Rauf. So, look, I mean, we're not expected to do particularly well. I think, given the fact that, you know, there are a lot of South African players missing. You would have liked to have Kahisa Rabadi. You would have liked to have had Quinton de Kock, Faf du Plessis, Lungi Ngidi, maybe even Anush Nokia. You know, there are so many players that South Africa would have liked to have had in the series. And what's really frustrating is now with Australia having cancelled that whole the Test series, is that we could have actually played our strongest T20 side in a year where there's a T20 World Cup. So the entire situation is very frustrating, and I think that, you know, Cricket South Africa have been very vocal at just how frustrated they are with the entire situation because of what they had put in place, and I think it'll be compounded by the fact that now they're having to play a second string side in Pakistan in a year where they really need to start working on their T20 side and getting it all sorted. But anyway, we're going to have Bjorn Fontaine who's going to open the bowling for South Africa. 26 years old, so still got quite a few years ahead of him. And has been a bit of a strange career. You know, we know he can be a very good player, can be a quality sort of all-rounder, can be a bit of a batting. But a struggle to sort of necessarily made the step up so far. So a big opportunity for him this tour to try and force his way into the long-term sort of plans. Shamsi not being the youngest of players. I think you'd have George Lindy playing had he not been returning with the Test squad. But facing the first ball will be the Pakistan captain, Babar Azam. He averages 50 in Test match cricket, an incredible T20 player, an incredible batsman, really, in general. So, yeah, I mean, a big test for him today. And we've got the first ball of the day, and he whips it off to mid-wicket for a single. So, on the mark early there from Bjorn Fontaine, wasn't too loose, which is good to see. But yeah, let me know what you think is going to happen in the game. Let me know where you are watching the game from, who you are backing. Any thoughts on the lineup, which players you think are going to be quite interesting to watch today. Yeah, as I said, hopefully we'll be joined by BK in a few moments. In a few minutes, stuff like that, as soon as he sorts a couple of things on his side, and then we can just sort of settle in really for the next 3 hours. Hey, come on, Shirley, that's brilliant. Come on. I mean, something out of nothing there on the second delivery. The reason I'm trying to take a signal on the first, Babar Azam taking a single on his first delivery, scampers through, and Bjorn Fontaine goes across, and is a direct hit. And I think we could have a run out early on. This could be the perfect start here for South Africa. Oh, he's gone. Cheers, Babar Azam. Take a walk. Brilliant from Bjorn Fontaine. That is the stuff we are talking about. 1 for 1 in the second delivery of the game. The perfect start here for South Africa. That is a huge. I mean, somebody that averages 50 to get him out without for a duck on his first ball. That is a massive breakthrough for South Africa. Honestly, couldn't have started the match any better. 1-for-1, second delivery. Right, so just busy sending out the link in the start. Yeah, please do smash like on the video if you are watching. I want to try and get as many people as possible and try and get a decent conversation going on here. But a crazy start, really, and that brings Heda Alien, who's played 8 matches, got an average of 38, and a dot ball there from Bjorn Fontaine. So, I mean, look, if you before the game, you would sit there and say you cannot afford to let Baba score any runs. I mean, he averages 50. I mean, what a throw. Literally pick up, no back thing, straight over there. Baba didn't have a chance. And another dot ball. So, a fantastic start of South Africa. Yeah, I mean, as I said, you would have wanted, he would have been the danger man. You would have spoken at length in the change room about making sure he doesn't get a start, making sure that, you know, whatever's going to happen, you can't afford to let him get in. And I'm sure they would have spent a long time trying to work out how they can try and get him out relatively early. And he pretty much just helped the cause by running himself out on the second ball. Looks like we've got our first boundary. You know, it's a brilliant piece of fielding by Petla Kwara. Rizwan just paddling the ball back with the square there down to where would have fine leg would be. So, yeah, I mean, and for Pakistan, it's the worst possible start because, I mean, they would have sat there looking at and saying, well, Babazam is also our main man, and we would have wanted him to score a majority of the runs. So to have gotten him so early is probably the biggest breakthrough of the game, really. I mean, he is the one on display. So, first ball here for Hada. It's 4-for-1, last ball of the over. So it's a good start for South Africa and another dot ball. Very good start there. 4 runs, but more importantly, the big wicket of Baba Azam. And yeah, you couldn't have asked for much more, to be honest. A tactic we're seeing more actually from South Africa is to start with spin. We saw George Linde starting against England in the series in September, and once again now we're seeing a South opening spin. So you probably find, I reckon, we'll see Lutus Pamela come from the other end. But I always quite like the idea of starting with spin. You know, it's something. I mean, spin in the middle orders can become quite expensive when you sort of spread the field, and it's quite easy to milk singles. And I always say, you know, never underestimate the value of running singles and twos in the middle order where you just need to start kicking the run rate over. So to try and get a couple of overspin done early on can be quite valuable. And we have Dwayne Pretorius on the other end. So a bit of control, not necessarily the fastest player, but a very intelligent bowler. Lands it in very good areas. He's been everywhere. I'd be very interested to see, I mean, we've seen him bat up to, 3-4 in T20 cricket. But, somebody who doesn't offer a lot of pace, and you really have to really go for it if you want to try and find the boundary often. So he's quite a handy limited overs bowler. We've seen him being very destructive with both ball and bat. Very experienced, quite old these days. So probably a bit of a stopgap, really, when you look at South African cricket. Maybe, he's not going to be a long-term option, but somebody that offers you something until you can get somebody like a Vian Mulder into the side. Once again, rolling on a nice tight line at the moment, not giving them too much width, which is the right thing to do. So the power play, the power play is always a very interesting way you got to try and approach it. You got to make sure that you don't be too expensive. Pakistan, having lost a wicket, now are going to have to sort of be cognizant of the fact that they don't want to lose 2 or 3, but you've always got to take advantage of the power play. Only 2 fielders out, there'll be lots of gaps. If you're brave enough to go over the top, there are lots of runs available there. And that's why it's often quite important having somebody early up who can pierce the inner ring, because once you do in the power play, then you've got boundaries there. It's a good start here. Haven't seen any sort of big shots here. A couple of singles run here. We're 6-for-1 now. Once again, bowling a very tight line, sort of sitting at around sort of fourth, fifth stump, not giving them any width here to work from Dwayne Pretoria. As I said, he bowls with a lot of control, so that is something we're going to see quite a lot from him. And if you got somebody who can control the ball so well, and he's going to be pitching in the same place, same ball every time, it makes setting the field so nice. So you've got a man back there at extra cover, against deep point, and then we've got deep square. So apart from that, it's obviously very quite close to the edge of the ring here. A single on the last ball, so 7-for-1 at the end of the second over. Good start. Yeah, Pretoria going for 3 there. And this will be interesting now. Is South African sticking with spin for one on the one end, or do they immediately now go to the seamers? Often you sort of see a spinner for the first over of the game, and then after that they move to sort of having 2 seamers operating for a little bit. Yeah, so just settling in. We're going to be here for quite a while. We've got a sort of, it's a 3-hour. We're looking at over 3 hours worth of cricket ahead of us, and yeah, as I was saying earlier, an opportunity for a lot of these players, a lot of the South African players, to try and make a case for them to be included to be on the plane for the T20 World Cup at the end of the year. So, something like Bjorn Fontaine had a couple of opportunities, always been a bit on the periphery, and I think you've seen George Lindy sort of jump, sort of leapfrog him. So it'll be a nice opportunity for him now to sort of step up and make a statement. But you think of somebody like Janne Malan, who's had he had that fantastic century in the one-day series against the Australia. He's somebody that people have been calling to see a lot more of him. And in a very inexperienced side, hello, that's straight up. And he's gone for 6 there. Jeepers. Flick of the wrist there from Haida, and he goes all the way. It didn't look like he had the distance. It went up very high, very quickly. And we've seen the first boundary of the day, and it's a maximum. So 14-for-1. And that's the thing with the power plays. You can afford to go for a shot like that. Not too many players out in the deep. It's not too risky. That's a very interesting shot. Literally tries to make it up the looking to go over sort of a backward square there. So bit of invention there, and it comes off. Oh, he's trying to go again. Hits the pad this time. So I guess an early warning there from Bjorn Vertey that you don't want to bowl it too straight, because he's looking to sweep it sort of down to the deep square region. It's a great shot. It's all wrists. I didn't think he'd had enough of it initially, but it clears the boundary by some distance, so it wasn't too much of a risk there, to be honest. Once again, down leg. Shamsi's in the back there. Always have a bit of a worry when you see Shamsi fielding. Never been the best fielder, but stops the ball there. He'll be very important. A leggy in T20 cricket can be golden, or you can be very expensive. There's very little leeway. Oh, and that's gone straight. That'll go all the way. That's a great shot. There's nobody back there. And that just cleared the boundaries. It's 2 6s in the over. And I think Fontaine, they're just guilty of sometimes going a little bit too straight there. He's gone all the way there. So that's exactly what Pakistan would have won. It's becoming an expensive over all of a sudden. 11 from it so far. I think and that can be the problem with opening with spin first up, is that you're not going to get much turn. You have to be very, very accurate. And if the players do decide to try and back and try and go for it, it's in the power play. You've got no fielders back, you've got no protection, and it's a fairly simple. I mean, it's a fairly safe shot, to be honest, going over the top there. I mean, it's two great shots. Hutter sitting on 13 or 7, having a check here. It's definitely a 6. Not quite sure why they're having to have a relook. Last ball of the over. Is he going to have a go? This will be Fortain's last over, I'm sure. He'll only come back later. That's a better length. He gets onto the other end, though. And it was an expensive over for South Africa. And I think that could very well be the end of Fontaine. Yeah, I think I would prefer to probably see the seamer. I like the idea of going spin up front for the first over, but after that, I like to see two seamers operating. I just think that without a lot of turn, especially something like Fontaine, who does bowl in the sort of high 90s, is just quite quick. It's pace on the ball, and as I said, there's not much turn. Being a finger spinner, so I think that it becomes quite easy to try. And if you want to go after him in the power play, you can get it in and above the ring. You've only got 2 fielders to miss. So here we go. Petlicoir now into the attack. So no Dwayne Pretorius. I wouldn't be surprised if you could see Dwayne Pretorius maybe swapping sides. Also, quite often these days, you see quite a lot of bowling changes, trying to change it up a lot, so the batsman can't settle and kind of get used to a particular bowler. Often see lots of different bowlers. But here comes Petlicoir, lots of variations. It's quite straight. Hits the pad there. There is an appeal, but I don't think we're going to have him down as unmoved. Very straight. So I think we're going to see a lot of wicket to wicket from South Africa. And it's interesting to see the captaincy here from Klaasen. In his first, I mean, as a player who I think has really struggled to settle in, I don't think we've seen the best of Klaasen in international cricket. We've seen a couple of very important knocks, but now entrusted to lead a very inexperienced side. So a lot to ask from him. A player who I think is under pressure by himself. And yeah, look, it wasn't a great appeal there. It's going down leg there. And again, very straight, looking sort of that topper off. Both players looking to run the singles quite a lot here. Much better line there. Yeah, as I said, looking really wicket to wicket at the moment. So just aiming it top or off just outside there. It's a good line. You can then pack the offside. Not too many gaps there to exploit unless you're willing to go over the top. I think we're going to see a lot of players across the world when it comes to TP. Oh, that's gone straight up. I think it'll be lucky. It goes right all the way to the back. That's no control there from Rizwan trying to sweep it. And it goes straight up over the keeper's head. It looks about a 2-bounce 4. So he finds the boundary, very fortuitous. But I mean, we are looking at a subcontinent World Cup in October, November. So the idea of starting with spin and getting your spinners in is very important. And that's why I say it's just, again, a very frustrating that a Pakistan T20 series, the year where we're going to have a World T20 World Cup in India, is such a good opportunity to try things out, and we just haven't been able to keep our best squad there and do it. But we've got, I would really like to see George Lindy getting a chance to start up front here in subcontinent conditions. He's one now coming down the pitch. Doesn't manage it. So it's a good over here from Petlicoir. I think unlucky with that form. He went top edge and went flying over the keeper. So not much he can do about there, but it's been quite well controlled. So having a look at the run rates and overs 1 to 6. So that's well played, but he picks up the field. It's a terrible piece of fielding. And Jacques Neyman, for your first ever contribution to international cricket, that's not a great moment. I mean, he gets down early and hooks it out into the deep. Jacques Neyman gets there and then just fumbles it forward into the boundaries. So not a good start there from the youngster. But yeah, so an interesting stat there being shown that Pakistan are the worst side in the world in terms of T20s in terms of their run rate in the power play. Average, I mean, their run rate's less than 7 in the power play, which really isn't good enough. You need to be getting the run rate up to 8, 9. Power play has become such an important part of the game. You've got to get yourself on the front foot, which can allow you to be a little bit more conservative in the middle overs, keep the run rate ticking, keep it a scoreboard pressure on, and then really go for it towards the last stages of the game. So it's become amazing how T20 cricket, despite being such a short format, has become so tactical in so many different ways. Right, now we've seen Lutus Pamla, the 22-year-old, his test debut, very nice test series debut against Sri Lanka. Struggled in the T20s against England. Woo! And he's beaten the outside edge of Hyder first up. Very nice start there from Pamla. 135 k's an hour. A player who feels that he think he needs to prove himself, and a lot of pressure, and gets a lot of criticism. But 22 years old, we've seen the talent. He had very good time on domestic setup. It's a very good ball first up. Come to reaching the outside edge. Did seem a little bit. Oof, and then once again. 134 Ks, so hitting the mid 130s there. Hyder struggling to pick up the line there. It's 2 balls as he's beaten the outside edge. Very nice start here from Pamla. I think it's important that South Africa trying to fight back this over. I think that over against Fortain that's a very nice movement there. Comes in and then goes past the bat, goes away a little bit. So it's a good seam position for that from Pamla. Oh, he's connected there. That is going to go all the way. That is in the slot. He went straight and that is clear the boundary with ease. Hyder once again, he moves up to 20 or 12 deliveries. What a shot that is. And just frustrating by Pamla because I think, he bowled 2 really nice lines and then tried to bowl a little bit straighter and Hyder was on that with a flash and he went straight over the top. Yeah, I see. That first one, probably the first one that's actually going to hit the stumps. Kind of expecting that that sort of line. Clears the front leg, goes over the top. 87 meters. That has sailed a very, very long way. But that's what he does. He's not going to be bogged down. He's going to go for. He's going to play his shots. As Babazam watches on, he'll be hoping that it's like tries to go again once there, goes back down to short fine leg, and Shamsi cleans up. But you can see the aggression there. I mean, 20 off 13, Hyder's not going to sit around. He's not going to die wondering. He's going to come out here and play a lot of shots. So, yeah, I think South Africa just be a bit careful because, he's got a hold of a couple. I mean, 36 for 1 in the 5th over. But if you can bowl 2 more dot balls, 6 off the over, it's a very good result. And that's the thing, you can't get sort of bogged down. If you're bowling four dots and 2 boundaries, as long as, if it's 2 sixes, then suddenly it's 12 and over. But 2 fours, 8 and over, you can kind of work with that. And it's a very good comeback. So 6 off the over so far, 5 deliveries bowled. If Pamla could finish off well here, that's not a bad over at all. I think we're going to see how to try and go for it. 5th last ball of the over. 4 dots, 2 dots before this. He's gone for 1, which has cleared the boundary. I think we might see clear the front leg. Yeah, I think he's going to try and go for this. He can't. Late cut there. They scamper through for a single, but 7 off the over is not a bad result from Sapamla. Slow ball there, just 119. So 37 for 1 after the 5th over. A pretty good start from South Africa. I mean, I always say a power play, under 50, I think is a very good start. Because after that, then you start spreading the field, and that's when you can try and force the run rate down to sort of 5, 6 and over. Try and plug the gaps and prevent boundaries. But it's going to be an interesting sort of dynamic between Rizwan and Hadassi here, where you've got one player who's going to play a lot of shots, be very aggressive. I think Rizwan more look to sort of just rotate the strike and kind of stick around there. Let other batsmen bat around him. Hasn't really seen too much aggression from him just yet. Petlaquire again, holding a lot of variation. That is a terrible delivery. It's gone in a wicket. Jock's neighbour's back though. How's that for a return? It wasn't the best ball at all. Going down leg very straight, picked it off his patch, deserved to go for the boundary, and that's a brilliant F from Jock's name, and he's dived and he's taken a wicket. That is brilliant. I mean, look, and this is also the benefit of a small ground, because I mean that should deserve to go all the way. I mean, it's a down leg, flicked off his pads, deserved to go for the 4, and Jacques Neyman has created something out of nothing. A brilliant start, the perfect start of the over there. Hadi Ali goes for 21 of 60, 37 for 2 Pakistan. And I think Proteas wouldn't have dreamed of this start. You almost see the surprise in Petlaquire when he actually got that wicket. He didn't expect it. He knew that it wasn't a great ball. Right, so Talat's now come to the crease. He'll join Rizwan, who's sitting on 15 or 14. You'll have 4 or 5 balls left in the power play to navigate, but it is Rizwan who is on strike. Oh, now Rizwan goes for it. He's gone big and he's cleared the boundary. That's 6 runs there by Rizwan. The first shot, he's really gone for it. So the perfect solo up. Didn't connect it particularly well. Came off the top of his bat. If there was a fielder out there, probably would have been able to catch it on the boundary, but there isn't, and that is the value of the power play. And as I said, I think Rizwan's going to have to go for it here and try and get something out of it. I don't think he connected as well as he would have liked. 78 meters though, so it's gone a long way. Having a look at the wicket chair, brilliant effort from Jacques Steeman, who makes a lot of ground before taking a very good catch. Had to make up for it, I think, because his first contribution earlier was a fumble, which eventually went on to 4 runs. So that's the perfect way to try and make up for that sort of mistake. And once again, after a big 6, 2 dot balls, 2 follow-up deliveries there, which is really good. And I think that's the problem, because, you're looking at a net result of 6 across 3 balls, which isn't necessarily that bad. So it's one thing to hit a boundary. It's another thing to continue making it count. You hit a 60, then you run 2 singles. Suddenly you've got 8 runs off 3 balls. That's a very good result. But if you're going a 6, dot, 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 it kind of nullifies the boundary itself. Giving himself space there, but Petlaquire angles it into him to cramp him up there. So, last ball of the power play. Pakistan 44 for 2. Hassan Talat will have face his first ball of the match. So you'd probably argue South Africa on top. Single to end the power play. Oof. Nice. That's something that's looked very good so far. The fielding for South Africa have looked apart from Steinman's fumble early on, the fielding for South Africa looks much better than what we saw in the Test series. So, end of the power play, 45 for 2. A really good result there from South Africa. I think they'll definitely had the better of power play between the two teams. So, big wickets falling there as well, particularly Baba Zam, who went out on his first ball face for a duck. But now's an important period. Now we sort of move into those very sort of that 6 to 14 overs. The next 8 overs are probably the most important in the match. You can control the middle overs and you can try and keep that run rate down. Then suddenly, when they start to have to go for it towards the end, if they lose a couple of wickets, then right. And now we are seeing Jacques Snyman comes in. Bowls out on off break. Very good batsman. You've seen something now. He just made a good catch, so he'll be full of confidence at the moment. Is primarily a batsman. So, but I think we'll be interested to see if he can offer something with the ball because he's got a lot of power with the bat. Nice ball first up, and here we are. You see, we're already seeing 2 men back there, so now we're going to see a lot more sort of replacing the strike. Yeah, so I think the frustration of Pakistan, I think, is if you look at the power play, is a lot of really good boundaries and some big sixes, but they didn't follow it up. And you've got to, if you're gonna go big, it's not enough to just get one boundary and over and nothing more. You've got to be able to sort of rotate the strike and follow up. If you get one boundary every over and follow it up with 5 singles, and you're looking at 9 and over. So sometimes it can be that easy, but if you can't follow it up, there we go. A bit of ingenuity there. A bit of a paddle. That'll go all the way. There's nobody back there. So we've got a boundary there. Card field here. Ball is moving quite quickly off the bat. And 2 straight. I mean, it's going down leg anyway. And just helps his way down there. No man, a third man. Not the greatest delivery. I think he needs to change his line, try and get to that sort of off middle stump line. But that's just too easy. You're not going to have somebody there at Sean far leg, then it's just too easy to paddle it at the top there. It's a low risk shot. And now he gives himself his space, dissects the 2 cover, and that goes over extra cover 4 of 4. So back-to-back boundaries here for Hassan Talat. He moves to 10 runs of 4. This time giving himself a bit of space, going inside and out. Hacking it through extra cover. Yeah, you can see, it wasn't supposed to go there at all. So, I'm just trying to work out. We've seen Dawn Fontaine, Lunas Apumla, Dwayne Pretorius, Petlaquire, Jacques Snyman. The 5th bowler so far, we've still got Tabay Shamsi to come in. So I see a lot of bowlers so far. Changing a lot. I mean, I think Pamela is the only one that's bowled two. I think Petlicoir is the only one that's bowled two in the trot, I think, or Spamler bowled two as well. A single there, right? So 12 off the over, not the best over there, especially when you consider that you can spread the field. A much better over there from Pakistan. Hassan Talat's off to a nice start, 11 or 5. 57 for 2 after 7. But having a look at the team today. So, look, I mean, 4 rounders for South Africa. You can look at Jacques Snyman, Dwayne Pretorius, and Dean Petlicoir and Bjorn Fortuin. You still haven't seen Junior Dalla. You still haven't seen Tibre Shamsi. So, South Africa you're going to use at least 7 bowlers today. I mean, it looks like the only people that won't bowl will be Janema Milan, Wiese Hendricks, Dave Miller, and Heinrich Klaassen. So, look, in a series where you want to try and look at your options, yeah, we are seeing Junior Dalla for the first time be the quickest bowler in the line-out. The first ball up there, 139. Now he'll be the one with a bit of pace. He's got express pace there. Bit of a strange action, kind of jumps off the wrong foot. At 10 matches, economy of 9.38, wickets 13, his best of 3 for 35. So hasn't had the best start to his T20 career. We want to try and improve those numbers. Two singles, yeah, and I mean, South Africa, that's not a bad result. We want to see them working out. You're trying to prevent the boundaries here. The middle overs, 6 runs and over, you can deal with. You can work with 6 runs and over. So he's on 25 of 21, strike rate of 119. Got on himself India. Got a start. There we go. Rush him a bit there. He works it out there to backward square. Will come for the second though. See, and that's the value of and that's another direct hit by South Africa. It's not a bad start yet from Junior Dalla as he enters his 4th delivery. Bit of pace coming through there. You can see he's trying to go for the pull there. 143.6 kilometers an hour. I think that's probably the fastest ball of the match, actually. Not too much pace in the South African lineup without Rabada and Nokia. So there'll be a lot more control, I think. It also means the batsmen have to pick their gaps. You're not going to have 150 kilometer per hour ball in the slot, which if you connect is going to go miles. That's down there. That's the first extra of South Africa. South Africa's been very good at no extra so far. Been so tight, but that's the first ball. It goes down leg. That is the first extra, first wide of the day. Not great from Junior Dalla. And frustrating because I think he was bowling a nice over up to there, but that's just a bit of a waste, to be honest. That's a very good follow up. First Yorker of the day. Bangs in nice and full. 141.2 kilometers per hour in the slot. So once again, important to finish off the over. It's gone for 5 so far. It's been a good over from Junior Dalla. It's a very nice start. Oof. That'll run down 4 leg bars off the ribs there. Arms up. I think he's a bit sore there. 62 for 2 after 8 overs. Still probably a very, the favourable start here from the South Africa. Bowled well up front, used a lot of different bowlers. That's the 6th different bowler we've seen. Still haven't seen Tabraiz Shamsi, who will probably bowl all 4, you would think, as a strike bowler. Although, with having so many bowlers, we'll be surprised if anybody bowls all 4. South Africa changing it up a lot, going through their bowl. They got 7 bowlers that they're going to use today, so plenty of options. And that's the nice thing about that is if someone's having a bad day, we're going to see Lutus Apamla come back in for a second over. If someone is having a bad day, you don't have to stick with him. You can move him and you can take him out the attack. And you might have a bowler who might only bowl one over, but if he's not bowling well, then why not? Why not be able to be in that position? As opposed to when you sometimes have too few bowlers, and then if somebody's having a really off day, can't find their legs, and now they're having to come back and bowl an over where they're just going to get punished. So first over for Lutus Apamla, waited for 7. Current run rate is 7.8 for Pakistan. Moving into the 9th over here. Nice ball into the block hole there. Worked away for a single. I think it's a very important series for Apamla. Obviously, still very early in his ODI career. 22 years old, so much cricket ahead of him, but he's been moved into the international setup quite early because he's been identified as such an exciting prospect. You look at his T20 career: 37 matches, 33 wickets, an economy of 8.92. So you want to try and bring that down to about sort of 7. But he's got a lot of talent, and we saw some big performance from the Tawani Spartans. But consistency is always an issue with the youngsters, and it's all about how they can respond. And he got brutalized in that England series. Called out a lot, was criticized a lot for his bowling. Was told he wasn't. Was being told a lot on social media that he wasn't good enough for international cricket, that he's a club bowler and stuff like that. By a lot of people, I don't think watch enough of him. And then got given a test debut as a result of Lenton Stearman being sick over the festive period. And look, he then had a really bad first over in Test cricket, first spell really, where he just couldn't find his legs. You could see the nerves playing up. But after that, came back and bowled really, really well for the rest of the series. So I think that kind of sums him up at the moment, where we've seen a lot of good from him and a lot of bad. That's been picked up early. It will just be a single there. So some good fielding there already, also from South Africa. But John, I think that we've seen that Apamla's got the ability to bounce back and to be able to take on the pressure, which is very important for somebody who is so young. So with no Rabada, with no Nokia, not that he's a senior bowler, but this is an opportunity. He'll be one of the more, your sort of strike bowlers. Him and Junior Dallo, who are in the side as the two out and out seamers. A lot of responsibility will fall on his shoulders, and it's an interesting time to see how he can respond to that. I'll be very surprised if we do see him on the plane to the T20 World Cup. I think it's probably a bit soon. But, the next one, 4 years' time, they'll be 26. That's sort of coming into his peak. So it's important for him to get games early on in his career, be able to sort of adapt and learn as much as he can, as soon as he can. So 67 for 2, 8.4 overs. Current partnership is 30 runs of 22. So the biggest partnership of the day so far. Rizwan sitting on 29-27. Want to probably up the strike rate a bit here. Hassan Talat is on 14 of 8 deliveries so far. He's picked that up early. Found Junior Dallo once again. Trying to find the boundary there. Trying to go across the line. Is Rizwan. Has failed him both times. So it's been a good over here from Lutus Apamla. 5 singles so far, which is not bad. Take that, I think. If you're looking at the run rates, currently was up towards 8. This will help that. And that's the important thing around the middle overs, to try and keep the run rate about sort of 6 and over, and try and keep a lot to do for later on in the match. Because then when you start going for it towards the latter stages, towards the back end, if you can pick a few wickets and suddenly you've got players coming in with no time, haven't seen any of the ball, don't have time to get themselves in, have to go for ball one, which makes it very difficult for the batsman. Okay, last ball of the ninth. Here we go. Another single to end the over. So good over there from Ludus Pamela. Run rate drops a little bit, sitting at 7.67 at the moment. So South will be very happy with that. Long may that continue to drop. Pamela's bowled 2 overs for 13. So a good start there from the youngster. And once again, I'm sure you're going to see another bowling change. And here we go. So Ray Shamsi comes into the attack. South Africa strike bowler, left arm unorthodox. And also a player who can be so devastating, but also can be very expensive. Really, not much middle ground when it comes to Shamsi. He's had some incredible performances and had some disastrous performances. So look for a leg spinner. The important thing is to land your first one to start really well. Because if you don't, it can suddenly become a long. Oh, hello. So Santala trying to reverse the first ball, misses it. There's a slight appeal for LBW. Almost a full toss there, so not the best delivery for Shamsi first up. Look, if he missed that, I think he was in trouble, but does sort of glove it in the end. Probably a little bit fuller than Shamsi would have liked. Oh, that's a good ball. That is a brilliant delivery. We're going to go upstairs for stumped. That is an absolute peach. Right length, spun a mile, beat the outside edge. Heinrich Klaassen's taken the bails off. That is a brilliant delivery. And if this is a wicket, then that is incredible stuff from Shamsi. And that's what you get with wrist-spin. Looks like we've got the feet up in the air. Ooh, I think he'll be safe. We don't have zings at the moment, so we don't have the light-up stumps to try and help, really. Looks like his foot is on the ground, though. Very, very close call. It's a brilliant ball, regardless for Shamsi, and that'll be a big wake-up call for this Pakistan batsman. That's what you get with wrist spin. You get a lot of spin from it. So we're having a look at the third umpire. I don't think we're going to see anything. I think this will be judged as having his foot down. Very, very close. Having a look at the angles here, it's very close, but I think he's got his foot down. I don't think we're going to see anything here. Good piece of keeping there from Heinrich Klaassen. A beautiful delivery. Out! Right, well, umpire saying that there wasn't enough pressure on the ball to grant it down. I think that's a very, very lucky wicket there. I don't think that was out at all. It looked like he got his head down. Might not his full weight down, but I definitely think his boot was touching the ground. So I think that's a massive, it's a bizarre decision, to be honest. Right, so that's Hassan Talat, Pakistan 69 for 3. I think a very fortunate decision. I don't think that's out, to be honest. They looked at it, and if you ask me, I think the boot was down. It made contact. You didn't have necessarily all the weight down behind it, but it definitely looked like the ball was down. Right, so 69 for 3 in the 9.2 overs gone so far. A big breakthrough there from Shanghai. It was a beautiful delivery. Deserved a wicket, to be fair. I don't think it was out though. I think it's a very interesting call from the third umpire. I think if you look at it, I think that the boot is down. So not quite sure why it's been given out or what the thinking was there, but look, as a South African fan, I'll take that. So South Africa very much on top at the moment. Almost the halfway stage of the innings, 69 runs on the board. A run rate below 8. 3 wickets down. So I think that's probably the problem with Pakistan, just losing wickets at regular intervals at the moment. Look, I think that's a bonus wicket for South Africa. I do not think that was out. But we'll take what we get. Right, so just a couple of adverts moments. Please do smash a like on the video if you are new. Subscribe to the channel. We are giving away a Proteas shirt when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. The faster we get there, the faster we can give away the shirt. It's a very nice supporter shirt. So almost an hour into the game so far. We're almost about halfway through the Pakistani. So hasn't been the fastest of innings. So, I mean, looking at the South African scorecard at the moment and the bowlers used, you've got Bjorn for Terence bowled 2 overs, none for 18, economy of 9. He started off really well and then kind of fell apart in the second over. David Torres bowled the 1 over 3 runs, economy of just 3, so very good for him. Pete Lequire bowled 2 overs, 1 for 16, a bit of a bonus wicket as well. Wasn't the best delivery. Good piece of fielding there from Jacques Snyman. Loser Pumler's bowled 2 for 13, so he's been nice in control so far. Jacques Snyman bowled just the 1 over for 12. I don't think we'll see too much of him, to be honest. He's in the side for his batting. You've seen Junior Dalo bowled 1 over 5, and now Tabay Shams, who's just into his third delivery of the over, of the game, actually. Got a wicket. Not quite sure why it was given out. Didn't really look out. But, look, we'll take it. Who do you think is the key death bowler for the Proteas? Look, I mean, something like Dwayne Pretorius is very controlled, can land it on a dime, so he can be very useful in that you can set a field around him. Junior Dulles, someone who finds the Yorkers quite well. Pete Lequire is often bowled at the death. I sometimes think he tries too many things at the death, tries too many variations, and sometimes misses length and stuff like that. Another very good ball by Shamsi. So yeah, look, I mean, I think you're gonna see Junior Dulles there. I think we'll probably see Dwayne Pretorius. As I said, Pete Lequire often does bowl there. You've got Lusa Pumler who bowls. He's got knack for taking wickets, as a wicket taker. So I suppose it depends on what you want. The nice thing of having 7 bowlers, you've got quite a lot of options. I do think we'll see Dwayne Pretorius probably. Yeah, I also think the fact that there are so many bowlers that we can literally just sort of go and see what's working, what's not working. Is the spin working? Is the pace working? What sort of do we need? Do we need pace on the ball? Do we need pace off the ball? Do we have a left-hander, right-hander combination? Who's actually at the crease? You can be very adaptable and very fluid with what your plan is when you've got so many options. So Ahmed, got a best of 62. So Pakistan need him to come off here. Good turn here from Shamsi. Just the 2 runs off the over so far after his 4th delivery. A bonus wicket after 5th delivery there. A bonus wicket, in my opinion. I don't think it was out. Very strange decision there from the 3rd umpire, but you know what? Well, we're going to take anything we can get. So can Shamsi finish it off? It's been a very good over so far. This is just not a boundary. It's been a very, even if this is a boundary, it's been a good over, to be fair to him. Ooh! Comes in, almost sneaks it all the way through. So a brilliant start there. Has a bit of a look at the batsman. He's hyped up. Shamsi's first over. 1 wicket for 2 runs. A perfect start for the wrist spinner. And that run rate continues to drop for Pakistan, sitting at 7.1 at the moment. They want to get that up. We are at the halfway stage of the innings. 10 overs gone. 71 for 3. 3 extras. Some good fielding so far from South Africa. And we have a look at the bowlers there. Some very good economies there from David Troyes. Went just for 3 runs. Junior Dalla went for 5. Shamsi went for 2. Loose Pum's gone for just 6.5. So, look, only one bowler only 3 bowlers who've gone for more than 7. And 1 bowler's gone more for 10. So, it's been a good start from our South African bowlers. They'll be very happy with this. Average score batting first is about 150. So, that'll be the target at the moment. So, pretty much on track to get there. Ooh, that's a bit of a rush of blood to the head, and gets away with that. So Rizwan comes down the pitch against Junior Dalla, tries to go at the top, completely misses out. But I think that's a sign of intent as the run rate drops to below 7 and over. They need to try and up the run rate. Yeah, head not particularly still there. Yeah, so current run rate gets him 148 runs per over, gets up to 150, 10 runs per over, 169. So, that's a much better. That's a brilliant shot from Rizwan. Not good from Junior Dalla. Down the leg side, and he just flicks it over the top. They're off his pads. Just poor, just really poor. You know, you've just beaten him with pace, and you've had so much success with bowling on that sort of 4th, 5th stump line. And now trying to go straight towards the pads. And it's been picked up by Rizwan perfectly for a 6. And you just don't need to do that. You've got a formula that's working. Why try and go too straight there? It's a big ground, you know. The more you can cramp it. If he comes down the pitch, if he's plays a straight drive over the top, fair play. But when you bowl it that straight and you almost bowl it down leg and they can just flick there, it's a low risk shot, high reward. Oh, he's gone again. It's short. I don't think it's going to go all... Yeah, it's gone all the way. That's back-to-back 6s for Pakistan. Exactly what we need. But poor from Junior Dalla. Once again, it's 2 straight. You cannot bowl there. Bowled his first over for 5 runs, where he bowled a really nice line outside the off stump. And that's just too short. Too short, too straight. Didn't even get hold of it, really, and it goes for 84 meters. Poor from Junior Dalla. Needs to get a lot better than that. We can't be bowling there. And that's the problem. And that's the thing with T20 cricket. You know, suddenly you've got 12 runs and 2 balls. Everything changes. You know, all the pressure you've been building up can be released in 1 over. Slightly better line there. Still angling in towards the middle stump. So... And this is the problem with Junior Dalla, is that he tends to be too expensive. I think you look at his stats in his career so far, and it just he does. He costs a lot of runs. See, better line there. Right outside off. Gets away towards, I think, for a single. Rizwan is on 44 at the moment, so coming up to his 50. And before those, I mean, those two 6s just completely changed the entire complexion of his innings. Having some replay, yeah, and that's something that's been very good. The South African fielding has been so much better today than we've seen in recent times. And that's been picked up. over the top there. That's just a good shot. I think you look at the ball, not too much wrong there, and he's just played the line, and that's gone huge. And the reason brings up is 50 or 35. What an innings this is turning into be because it's kicked on. 18, 20 off the over. That's completely changed the entire game. And this continues to be the problem with Junior Duller is that he can have these overs where he just misses it. But that for me is a lot more forgivable. The line was better, maybe not the best lane, maybe a bit too full. But if somebody's going to go and play a shot like that, it's just a fantastic cricket shot. You can't do much. But when you bowl it straight and you're bowling it short and straight, and it's just too easy to pick up across the line, you can't afford to bowl there. So that's a huge over, and that's completely put Pakistan back in the mix after 11 overs, 91.3, 20 runs off that over. Is that a momentum shift? Takes 1 wicket to change it back. I think we're going to see Shamsi, who'll probably bowl 4 in the trot here. So what should Shamsi do? See, all of a sudden, current run rate was going to get them to 140 an over ago, and just after one big over, suddenly the current run rate gets them up to 165. That's been swept. That'll go all the way. That's the wrong line from Shamsi. And this is the problem. Pressure, pressure, pressure. No backward square. Down the leg. Not the right line. Too easy to sweep there. Huge stride up in front. Picked it up nice and early. Swept along there. This is all turning now. As I said, I always said that the 6 to 14 over period is the most important period of the game. You can restrict teams, build the pressure, take a few wickets towards the end, suddenly the entire game can change. But if you lose your grip in these middle overs, even with a fight back towards the end, you can suddenly be chasing a big total. And you often take your sort of score at 12 and look to double it if the batsmen come good. And now, they score at 12, so we'll look at around 100. So what was looking like 150, 160 on the cards could now be looking at closer to 200. A dot ball there from Shamsi. Much needed dot ball. Tries to go to the top there. It'll be land short of the fielder. A better comeback here from Shamsi, but this is the problem. I bound you early on in the over, and you're up against it. Much better by Shamsi. It's a good finish there. He's clawed a bit back. He's gone 1 over for 10 runs, or 2 overs, 10 runs. So it's good by Shamsi, but now is the problem. Now we need to follow that up because the problem is that he's up against it, coming off a terrible over from Junior Duller. So I'm sure we'll see a bowling change here. Right, 13th over here at the moment. Current run rate is 8.25. Fontaine back into the attack there. To start there, Pakistan trying to look for a signal. Almost a bit of a mix-up in the middle, but they rectify there. Thoughts on Australia's Chancellor? I just think it's ludicrous. I just cannot understand how they managed to justify it not coming. You look at the cases in South Africa. Well, I mean, the whole reasoning, they've expected. Oh, that's gone straight up. I don't think that's long enough. Man underneath it. We've got a wicket there. Very well done by Fontaine. That's a big breakthrough. That's what we need at the moment. Still, Rizwan's still in, not the danger man there. That's a big wicket. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the entire Australian thing was ludicrous. They had no issue traveling to England during a time when, the cases were low for England, but they weren't gone. It wasn't like they were, lockdown sort of eased. And then Sri Lanka, I mean, there were the issues with England coming to South Africa, but the Sri Lanka tour was no issue. Pakistan tour had no issue. The Pakistan women's side, they've been in the country for the last month. There's been no issues there. Australia obviously will, are hosting the Australia Open, so that's fine. They can have all these people coming into Australia from around the world. They had India come tour them. Now England have gone to Sri Lanka, India touring India, but Australia can't come to South Africa because it's too dangerous and it wouldn't be good for the health of the players. I mean, you look at the case in South Africa, and they've gone from what was, yes, over 10,000 cases per day. It's now sitting at 1,000 cases, 1,500 cases, and you read all the various stuff. I mean, all the various mechanisms they're put in place, and the fact that they're going to have the entire lodge themselves. All the staff will go into quarantine. All the players are going to quarantine for 14 days. Everything to the bus driver was going to be in quarantine and not be able to see his family. So they're prepared to put in all this in place. They're going to be able to skip customs basically. To come down here and yet they're good enough. But then this is the same country, and then you got Rugby Australia who's sitting there saying, well, if you want the British and Irish Lions rugby, come and host in Australia. So bugger that. Why must we all go to Australia because they apparently are just so good at coping with this stuff, but they can't travel here? I think it's nonsense. And I hope, as you say, I hope the RCA for preparations. I think we did spend a lot of money on preparing it. What was going to be a great tour, what was exactly the type of tour that South Africa need. And I mean, now I don't think South Africa got Test cricket until like December or something stupid. It's also a T20. So, yeah, I mean, it's the end of our sort of. I mean, we're coming up. If we don't have cricket in March, April, that's the end of our domestic season down here. So, I just think it's very frustrating, and I think that their justification was poor. I think that it's just going to. I mean, and as fans, we lose out, and as South African cricket, we lose out because I think we have a couple of positives to take from the Test series, and it would have been a very nice Test. Two sides who have played some reasonable Test cricket and some poor Test cricket going at each other. So, yeah, it's very frustrating at it, but what can you do? The biggest thing is I can hope is that CSA try and find another opponent, and even if they have to travel, to try and find some more Test cricket before the end of the year. Because to have to wait till the end of the year, I mean, how could you build a Test team when you're not playing Test cricket? I've said it before, South Africa doesn't play enough Test cricket as it is, and when you have series cancelled and stuff like that, it just doesn't help at all. It's a good shot there. That's Reason's found the gap. They do a bit of a one-man effort at the moment. Reason moves it to 60 of the 105. So he's the danger man. Pakistan 105 for 4. Rizwan on 60. If they can get Rizwan out, I think South Africa can be right on top here. Bit of an unorthodox shot there by Rizwan, but he finds the boundary. Yeah, I think CSA will look to try and take it higher. I think they're very, very pissed off, and rightfully so. And I also think that, I think Kevin Peterson was saying, where he said that had it been England, they wouldn't have cancelled it. And that this whole BCCI, England Cricket Board, ECB, and CA controlling world cricket and deciding what happens when and who plays when, I'm just so over it. And you cannot have that sort of power struggle. And this is another example of that dynamic continuously plaguing the game. And it really needs to stop because, as Kevin Peterson was saying, had it been an India series or had it been an England series, he would have been very surprised if it had been cancelled. But because, you can just sort of dismiss South Africa at the moment. Right, Shamsi back into his third over. He's bowled very well today. Can he get Rizwan? This is what he needs to... Oh, that's a big appeal. That's a big appeal. No, doing too much. But this is what I talk about. Shamsi as South Africa's strike bowler. This is where he needs to come in. Surely you're going to send it upstairs. Look, I don't think it's a great review, but considering the situation, it's 13 overs gone. You've got 7 overs to go. You've got 2 reviews. This is the big man. If there's a small chance of a wicket here, you've got to go upstairs. It's spinning a mile here, so it definitely won't be out. Yeah, so it's not a good review. As I said, I don't think it was going to be up, but at the end of the day, you look at the situation, you look at the player, and worth a bit of a risk. Yeah, exactly. You look at the Bangladesh and we see India, but also, how there's a reason that India. I mean, now we're seeing New Zealand coming through in the Test arena, but there's a reason that England, India, and Australia have always been so dominant in the Test arena, and that's because they just play so much Test cricket. And I think if South Africa are able to sort of match that, with all the sides, Sri Lanka is going to, they're going to be competitive on the Test, in the Test arena. They need to play more Test cricket. You need West Indies playing a 5-test series in Australia. Otherwise, how are they ever going to compete? It's impossible to try and compete if you're not playing the format enough. And I mean, you got to look at domestic structures. And I think South Africa's domestic structures for first. It's another good shot by Rizwan. He finds the boundary there. Pakistan 112-4. So I think that South Africa first class cricket needs to improve. But I also think that until we start prioritizing Test cricket and really sort of gearing ourselves towards being a country that prioritizes and really takes the longer form of the game seriously, you're never going to be able to compete. Right, so this is the danger man. Can Shamsi try and produce something that's down? Won't get a boundary this time. That's the wrong sort of line. Very important part of the game here. We're about to start moving towards the last 6 overs where things start to open up a little bit. So look, I think Shamsi's bowled very well. Bowled quite a lot of control. A couple of missed times where he's missed his line a little bit. But now it comes very important in terms of who you're going to turn to. We haven't seen Dwayne Pretorius come back yet, so I think we're going to see him. I think we're going to see Lucas Pamla. I'm sure Shamsi will finish up here the way he's bowling, and they'll try and get one more wicket. That'll be a wide. Okay, no wide there. So that's the end of the 14th over. Shamsi bowling 3 overs, 1 for 16. So he's been very, very good. As a strike bowler, needs to probably, he will have one more over, trying to find a wicket. That's exactly what he's in the team to do. But now comes the time to start looking at who are your best bowlers, who can bowl the best 6 overs. Who's going to give you that control? Who's going to be able to live up to the sort of the big match temperament. Who's going to be able to land their Yorkers and land the right deliveries at the right times. And so I'm sure we're going to see Lucas Pamela. I don't know if we'll see Junior Dalla. I don't think we need to. Yeah, here we go. Dwayne Pretorius back in the attack. Went for just 3 in his first over. Once again, on the money, on the stumps, they'll work it off for a single. And that's what Pretorius does. He doesn't give you a lot of pace. Difficult player to get away. Yeah, look, I mean, Test cricket is. I also think the Test cricket crowds. The reason that we get such big crowds in South Africa is because we don't see a lot of tests down here. You know, we often, you know, we've always historically had our sort of Boxing Day, that sort of festive period test down here when everybody's on leave. But you know, if you're having tests in February and March, you know, day 1, 2 are usually pretty small. Weekends they get a lot better. But yeah, look. What doesn't help is that India has such big stadiums. You know, when you've got stadiums with, you know, it can seat 60,000 people. You know, it can be a quarter full. But I mean, I'd love to see, you know, stadiums like you see at the Gabba and at the MCG where you got 80,000 people watch Test cricket. Oh yes. Oh, we thought we had him. We thought that was reason. We thought it was an inside edge there. They went up. There's definitely something. I'm not sure what it hit there. It would have been the perfect starcher. Yeah, Dave Miller's a strange player. I mean, you look. I don't think he's got a bad first class average. I think he averages about 38, if I'm correct. I'll check now. I've always felt Dave Miller has never been given enough respect as a batsman in terms of technique. You know, and given that, that's gone big though. There we go. That's Rizwan going for it. He finds the boundary there. That's a big 6 there. 73, Rizwan. A brilliant knockout. He's single-handedly taking this to South Africa. Wasn't the worst ball, to be honest. It was a little bit short. And that's just raw power. He's played across the line. He's fetched that from outside the line and just sent it. Right, so Henny follow up. 8 off the over so far, which isn't terrible. Miscues that, so you'll just get the single there. So 9 off the over so far. Look, in the 15th over, I don't think it's necessarily a bad result. He's looked like he's had some good control here. Just one ball, which is slightly off. That's just a great cricket shot. I mean, it wasn't really there. I mean, he's fetched it on the side there, and it's just raw power. It's in all Rizwan today. No other bat. I mean, you saw Haddo with a little bit of a go. I think it was unlucky to go out, to be honest. Coming around the wicket here. Slap bat there, but the 10 off the over, I would keep Dwayne Pretorius on, to be honest. I think, you know, apart from the one boundary there for 6 there, but apart from that, I think he bowled with good control there. So I would keep Dwayne Pretorius on there. I wouldn't sit there and say, just because he went for 10, you should change him. I like Dwayne Pretorius a lot. He's got so much control. Because he doesn't have pace, it's quite difficult to get away. I mean, you look at the Pakistan batting card, and after Rizwan, you've got 21 from Hadda, 15 from Talat, and then you've got 4 apiece from Iftikhar and Kushtal. I mean, it really has been a one-man effort. So if South Africa were to try and pick up the record of Mohammad Rizwan, then they could really try and pin South Africa back. So this is Shamsi into his last over, single off the first ball. That will bring Rizwan on strike. This is what South Africa would have wanted, to be honest. I think they would like to see Shamsi bowling 5 balls at Rizwan. See if he can force a breakthrough here. He goes down to sweep. There is protection out there. Not a bad result there. Shamsi's bowled very well today. Also somebody you can't take too many risks against. You know, it's because he's does turn the ball and you know he's got the knack of taking wickets. So you can't, you know, it's always a bit of a risk to try and hit against the spin. So it's an important over here. 4 overs after this. Kind of really, yeah, dot ball there. So yeah, I mean, I think they're not going to go after him because I think they're very wary of the threat. But you know, it does mean that you only have 4 overs after that to go after. Look, the projected score at the moment is 161 on the current run rate, which would be about par. You can go up to 10 over 170, 12 and over 179, 14 over up to 188. So 200 not really on the cards. With some good bowling, probably looking between 160 and 170. Another good ball by Shamsi. There is a single there. And you can see they're giving Shamsi a lot of respect here. I'm not going to go after him. It does mean whoever's going to follow up here is going to be targeted. So look, I mean, South Africa all comes down to, for me, the power play. A bit of a... No, you can't just do that, though. That's bizarre. I mean, that shouldn't be a dead ball. That should be a dot ball. So what's happened is Shamsi has paused in his run-up and then gone on, as lots of spinners do. And Rizwan saw him going it, and he just sort of stopped. And he pulls out when the ball's like halfway down the pitch. I mean, he stutters in this run-up and then bowls the ball. Rizwan decides to just not play it, and now... I mean, that's bizarre. I can't understand why that's been given a dead ball. Because Rizwan, I mean, he even looked set for the ball, and then literally halfway down as the ball bowled, he kind of just stopped. I mean, I've never seen that, really. Just pull out that late in the delivery. Oof, good, very good. Well done to Bray. 1 for 20 and 4. That's a brilliant spell by him. He's kept the run rate down. He's looked dangerous. They've had to respect him. Economy of 5, can't ask much more from him. A big mantle to try and take over from Imran Tahir, and that was a very good effort there. Right, so 4 overs to go. 127 for 4. Game very much in the balance at the moment. I think, you know, one good over here and Pakistan are under pressure, but one big over from Pakistan and suddenly South Africa could be chasing a big total. And I think for South Africa, you got to sit there and say under 170. They'll want under 170 here. Right, so Pamela into the action here. A big moment for him. His economy sometimes can be a bit poor. Did beat the outside edge twice in his earlier spell, so an important over here. He is up against Rizwan. He gives himself space. Gives himself space. Bowled wide there. He goes through for the single. It's a good start from Pamela. I think the important thing is for Rizwan to get as much strike as possible. No other batsman has looked close to being as destructive as he has. So, big thing for South Africa now is try and sort of squeeze Krishdal here and just try and prevent Rizwan from sending as many balls as they can. You know, 28. Oh, that's gone up. That's high. I don't know if he's got the... That's all the way. Cheap. Is that a sailed off the bat? First time he's really gone for it and he finds the boundary. A brilliant shot from Krishdal there. And that's exactly what Pakistan needed. They've been too reliant on Rizwan. Haven't seen too many other players really take up the mantle, but that is a fantastic shot. Picks up the length quite early. I mean, it hits very low on the bat. It's gone straight up, but there's just too much pace and power there. Right, so now how can Sapamla respond? That's 7 and 2 balls, 4 balls left. He cannot afford to go for a 20 runs in the over. That can throw away the entire effort here. This will probably be his last over, to be honest, unless he really responds well. Goes again, and he's out. That's what you want. There we go. That's a response. Well done, Luto. Not the best ball, to be honest. A little bit short. Kristal pulls it straight down the throat. And South Africa have their fifth. 134 for 5. More to the point, that's a dot ball. Going for Tay, the man underneath it. He can't do much wrong today. Good follow up there. Game on, really. Kristal 12-12. And this is the story of the Pakistan innings, that besides Rishwan, no one's really got going. A couple of starts, a couple of impressive shots from a couple of players, but then just keep losing wickets. And if South Africa can just keep Rishwan off strike, or just try and find the breakthrough, I mean, they can restrict Pakistan to under 160. But it comes down to making sure that Rizwan just sees as few deliveries as possible. You know, we've got 21 balls left in the innings, and you want Rizwan to be seeing as few of them as possible. There comes Fahim Ashraf. He's got an average of 11, a strike rate of 25 though, so he can be quite distractive. Knows how to hit a ball, 27 years old. He doesn't have a lot of time here. He gets a single though. That's a very good result for Pakistan. That brings Rizwan back on strike for 2 balls. The Pamla needs to prevent 2 boundaries here. 8 with the over with a wicket. It hasn't been a bad over. If neither of these can go for the boundary, it's been a good over. It's a good slow ball there from Sapamla. Rizwan pulls it there. They'll run hard. They'll only get a single. Very, very nice response here from Sapamla. And this is what we need from the youngster. He's a frustrating player, Sapamla. You can see there's a lot of talent there. I think it's a very raw talent. I think somebody who's he's spent quite a lot of time, just developing the small aspects of his game. But he's got the talent. It's whether he can match it with the temperament. That's a nice delivery there. So 10 off the over from Sapamla. I don't think it's a bad result at all. In the 17th over to go for 10 and pick up a wicket, that's not bad. We'll take that at this time of the game. And that's the thing. Somebody like Shamsi can put in a spell together like that. It just gives a little bit more space to the other bowlers. Right, so 137 for 5. 3 overs left. 5 extras from South Africa. I think 3 wides. I think most of them are leg bars, to be honest. So can't say that, the bowling's been too bad, I don't think. I think Junior does been pretty expensive. Missed his line in that big over. And it's amazing how you still look at that over and think if that had gone for just 10, 127 is a whole different situation. And some good news. It looks just as we're getting into the end of it, we might have a guest appearance. Let me just try and sort this out. BK, flip that phone of yours, chap. Right, and let's bring the man in. Hello, Beaks.
Dude, I just saw the $500 sign. Ocean win big money here. You're napping.
Look, I mean, you could also win $500 during the test, but I don't think Oaks will worry too much about that. To be honest, I think if I was the African batsman, I think I'd probably also go for $500 during the test match. Just be like, listen, we're not going to take the dubs. Let me just line my pockets a little bit here.
Well, yeah, why not? What's been happening? I just got here now.
Hey. Okay, well, I don't know where you're sitting here. We've just had our third ball of that over. Look, I mean, it's been all Ree's one. I mean, he's on 80 runs or 54 now of Pakistan's 141. So no other batsman really contribute. I think the highest has been 21. So it's all been pretty ordinary from the Pakistan batsman, apart from Ree's one, who's just been playing a masterclass here.
Why does this remind me of our IPL clash where we had Uz get all the runs for us?
Dude, that's the thing with T20 cricket, though. You need one person to come off. One person come off, and you can win games. You don't need 4 or 5 guys to score runs. One person come off, and you can still score big. Chansey bowled a very, very nice spell. I think he went it was 1 for 20 in his 4. So we'll take that.
He's a Titans player. I expect nothing else.
I can't believe you're a Titans fan. You don't even live in Pretoria.
Dude, don't nap.
I'm napping.
Dude, it's where the family is. The family's that side.
Dude, what do you mean it's where the family is? You live in Johannesburg.
Yeah, I've got family in Pretoria.
Dude, I've got family in the UK. You don't see me suddenly supporting the UK.
Oh, look at V-Way and Laletti.
Imagine. Yeah, imagine having to try and support Ben Stokes. Out for that. Phenomenal cricketer, but out for having to support him. Especially look, the England team's a lot more likable now. Back when it was Strauss and all those buggers. And back when Jimmy Anderson was first on the scene in his red hair spell, it was tough to ignore how good they were, but it wasn't tough to ignore the attitude and the back then. But hey. Oh, that's too full. And cheers. We'll take that very much. Yes, boys. Right, let me just add our scoreboard back here because now you've come in. Dude, what is it about Petlaquire? He's just got a knack of taking wickets, like when you need him to. Like he'll go for lots of runs, but he always just seems to take a wicket here and there.
He's a bowler like me in T20.
No, relax. We're talking about you in T20 cricket. I'm going to have to check my pocket and see if he's still in there.
Oh, Steve, I'm not a batsman.
I'm not a bowler.
So it cancels out.
Yeah, well. Still got you out, so we'll
So
focus
did
on that.
I ran you out in our earlier group game.
Oh, it doesn't count. Right, so 143 for 6. The question is, what can we chase down? What do you think is a score too much for us?
We can chase down 160.
Like,
We could honestly chase down 160.
well, I mean, you got Yanam and Milan. If he comes off, the problem is same thing as we need a reason one. We need someone to go deep. You know, so if somebody can take a bit of responsibility and score big, then suddenly it becomes a lot easier to try and chase down targets. What I do want to see is us being a bit more aggressive in the power play, because I think Pakistan were about 43 after the power play, whereas I think you'd like to be above 50.
Who was bowling the power play?
Absolutely everybody. We've used 7 bowlers today. Yeah, I mean, we had Bjorn Fontaine. We had, I think the only bowler who bowled more than one over in the power play was Petlaquire. So we had 5 bowlers in the power play.
Classic South Africa.
Was the second last over. Oof, that drops short. Okay, so here we go. 11 balls and Rizwan on strike. So what, 16 runs to get to 160. I think that will be, I think 160 will be a very good result for us. I think they're saying 151 is about a pass score on this ground.
Well, I mean, it's a T20, so anything can really happen. Is this pitch slow?
Look, we don't have the fastest bowlers. I don't think it's particularly quick. The outfield's quite quick. It's value for shots. Look, I mean, they have been hitting some very large sixes, so I think the ball is coming onto the bat.
Yeah. Now I just see Sukamna here bowling a lot of change-ups. No, yeah. So 160 would. I think that's honestly it's in the realm of T20. I think that's prime. On any ground really.
Also, you know that we chose to field first.
Of course we did.
I mean, do you ever get the feeling that we're a good chasing side?
No.
So why do we always bowl first? We're forever doing it though. I don't understand.
Well, I think it's maybe maybe Clausen just wanted to get a look at the pitch up front and rather not take the risk of exposing our weak batting lineup.
Hey, but dude. Look, I mean, I suppose it's always nice chasing that you know what you need to do, and what you need to do is apparently have one person score all the runs and everybody else just chip in and get out. But yeah, I just always worry about us when we're chasing.
Well, I mean, we have to learn as well how to set a total and to chase. Despite this being our second string team.
I was about to say that's the biggest problem is that we can learn a lot in this series, but a lot of these oaks aren't coming to the end of the year.
Oh, we don't. Sorry, Steve. I haven't even asked who's starting in this team.
Ooh, that's straight up. And all the way. That's what I'm saying. Like, even when he hasn't connected, Rizwan's just found the boundary. I don't know how he's done it, to be honest. He's had a couple where I just didn't think he's connected it. But yeah, so we've got Riza Hendricks and Jan Milan top of the order. And then at this stage, we've got Jacques Snyman coming in at 3 on debut. Heinrich Klaasen at 4. Dave Miller 5. James Torres 6. Petlaquire, Bjorn Fontaine, Junior Dalla, Lutus Apamla, Tabrei Shamsi. So after Bjorn Fontaine, we've got no batting. But
why did they just snub my boy Andre Burn?
You'll get a chance. Relax.
He was bowling well in the Momentum One Day Cup.
Yeah, but dude, Momentum One Day Cup is very different to seeing Mohammad Rizwan just absolutely take you apart. Like, come now, you look at some of the averages of the batsmen in the One Day Cup and stuff like that, and it's a bit childish, to be honest.
Yeah, that's very true. And our domestic system is kind of low as is.
Yeah, so. But you should have seen the run out. First up, Baba's second ball of the innings, his first ball, tries to take a signal. Old Bjorn Fontaine runs across, slides, as he's sliding, picks up across those direct hit. Cheers, boy. Out by like 2 meters. Woo, that's gone. Surely that's cut. There we go. No, you blithering idiot! Junior Dalla has been atrocious today.
Did he didn't even his hand?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He'd taken the catch. Oh, you cannot drop the guy on 89. That was it. Keeping him to 160 was in his hands. And then he almost put it into the boundary as well. Yeah, it's a 4 as well. Cheers, Junior. Oh my goodness.
That is atrocious.
I mean, he could have been the biggest batsman out, and instead he's gifted them 4 runs. Oh, what is an absolute... If we lose by 4 runs, your boy and the Titans... Look, it's a great effort to get to the ball, but the ball was in his hands.
You can say it's a great effort, but he was there. It's not like, he made like a big effort and he had to dive more. He was there. He was
the thing is, you're taking the catch. I mean, we're looking at it here. He got there, in his ball. Snatcher. Dude, it was that second one. And then he literally pushed it towards the boundary. Oh my goodness. Well, Luto's crying, dude. He's crying. Look at him. I'd also be crying. Yeah,
how is he still in just Proteas camp?
It's a very good question. I think it's like his economy in international cricket is like 10.
Dude, that's not good enough.
So, dude, this is like he gets there, eyes on the ball, snatches it. It's this second grab he has. Oh my, it's so bad. Oh, he's just like, dude, what are you doing? Drops it. Okay, cool, I got this. Quick. No, man. It's like those cartoons. Like you're trying to grab a fish.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like always, and they just can't grab it, dude. It's literally looked exactly like that. Just went and just bloop. Oh, my word. Okay, so 157. Look, so now what? 100 less than under 170.
Yeah, no, that's what we have to depend on,
dude. Yeah, now he can field. Now my boy can field.
Yeah, but it was looking dicey there as well.
Yeah, dude, I was waiting for it. I was like, don't do it again. Come on. But dude, don't you always feel that Petliquire sometimes just tries too much when he bowls to the death?
What, with his change-ups?
Man loves to bowl like a knuckleball and it goes for like wide and stuff like that. When it works, it looks so... I think that's what the problem with variations. When it works, you look like a G and you look like you really know what you're doing. When you stuff it up, you just look like an absolute idiot.
Well, I mean, I think that's the risk factor in it. Because when it works, it comes off well, but you miss your leg by a centimetre.
Yeah, we can't afford boundaries in this over. If they get up to like 175, we're in trouble. Come on, Dile. Oh, it's a full... Oh, no! Fine, we'll take the 2 or 1. 2.
Surely that's terrible. How we...
Dude, Snyman's first touch as an international player was like he was diving to save a ball. He basically just pushed it into the boundary. It was terrible. And then like 2 overs later, he takes this like great diving catch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should have taken
that's
that.
Like the standard T20.
Why does he put his arms up so late? Dude, also, can we talk about the size of the soak?
They are huge.
That's South African domestic cricket players, eh? They love their food. They're always big oaks.
Where does he play club cricket?
Snyman. He's at the Warriors, isn't he?
Yo.
I'm back. Yeah, even checked pre-match.
Dude, if it's the Warriors, then I would have loved that Eastern Province water, dude. Just pump me up.
Either the Warriors or the Knights. In fact, I think it's the Knights. I'm being stupid. It's the Knights. I'm sure it's the Knights. He plays with Blom. He's with Adam Donald and the Buggers.
What do they have in that water there? Like some.
Dude, it's Bloemfontein. I mean, come on.
What are you trying to say about Blom?
Dude, they're brying every day. They're eating nothing but protein. Play some good cricket, actually, the Knights, all right, Knights. Oh, this is the problem. Shouldn't have been there to get this freaking century. Oh, dear.
Yeah, that was a big 6 Axwell.
Oh, it's a huge knock. Junior. Hey, Junior.
His name on is actually big. Oh, my days. Maybe.
Dude, whatever this oaks hits, doesn't even matter if it's like timed well. It's just gone to the boundary, dude. He's hit the ball so cleanly today.
I assume that was also his first 100. Yeah.
Yeah, he's now got a century in all 3 formats. Wasn't it his first Test century against us?
No, did he get one against England? He might have,
Oh, that's better.
because he played one
Hello,
against
you
England.
missed it, Kydrick. Okay, so
Oh yeah,
hopefully like
there,
170 it.
there goes passport, by the way.
Yeah, look, it's not gone well, to be honest. We had just taken that. If I think we had just taken the catch, I reckon a whole new story here. Yeah, it was. It was his first century against us, dude. This Oak must just love playing against South Africa.
Oaks tend to perform against us. We're like that
It's a Proteas bully, dude.
small team that just underperforms.
Dude, fact. Remember when Dob Sibley scored that 100? Man looked like a club cricketer. Comes to South Africa, everybody's like, "Oh no, this is his last thing." Goes and bangs 100. Now he's cooking.
Like for
170
example,
to win. So 170 to win. Is it too much? Can we do it?
I mean, those 10 runs, I'm so worried. And it all comes down to that drop catch.
I suppose it all comes down to, can you get a good start? You know, if Yanniman Milan can get off into a really good start in the power play,
especially on this pitch, not losing wickets or starting quick, and maybe losing a couple of wickets. You know.
Yeah, look, we don't bat particularly deep, so we can't afford to lose wickets.
Exactly. So I think it's more. Dude, how many bowlers have we used today? Oh
Dude, I told you, we had 7 bowlers.
You're so ready. So yeah, it's now about how many how many wickets are we willing to use in the power play, and how many runs are we willing to score?
Well,
And
I
that comes out
think in the power play we need to be going at least 6 and over. For me, we need to be 60 after the power play. You know, got to be aggressive, because these Oaks, we don't play spin. When that ball's new, you got to go after them. The problem is, dude, leggies, dude. Oh, a leggy and a T20. If it comes right, it's just next level.
I mean, if Shamsi was bowling well, then yeah, I mean, it's going to be a problem for us.
Yeah, I think Shamsi's got to be one of the most frustrating players to watch, because on his day, he's a game winner and he can be wild. But if he misses his length, then you're just watching a couple of overs of this guy being sent everywhere.
Well, I mean, the problem is now Tahir. What is happening with Tahir? Because he hasn't.
Man's available. Man's like phoned Smith and said, "Listen, like, I'm keen to play." Hey, and Smith's like, "Cool, dude. Just wait. We'll keep that in mind."
Let's look from IPL. He didn't really play IPL. He was picked in the Big Bash. Didn't play Big Bash.
Oh,
and then
man is old.
I think he was at that T10 series, as that T10 tournament. I think he probably played a lot there, but it looks like he hasn't been playing a lot of cricket.
I wonder what you earn being part of these tournaments, but like not really playing. Like, well, I mean, because you always talk about, you're talking about match fees, the fact that you get match fees. Like how much can you earn if you're not playing?
Must be a bucket load, though.
I mean, yeah, it can't be pennies. Like, I'm sure the incentive bonuses are like what really makes it worth it.
Because I think it also comes down to like your sponsors as well. Like you're advertising yourself there in these tournaments, and they're like, okay, we can give you more money. Like, think about how much Shamsi's getting every time he's celebrating, he takes off his shoe and shows it.
Like a big like Adidas sign there, boom.
You
pay for that, Brad. Did you see that? Like I think he's now been banned. He's not allowed to like take stuff onto the field. Like when the man was pulling out his mask and doing his magic tricks in the MSL, they're like, "Nah, you can't do that."
The magic trick was so crazy.
Dude, people are just haters. Let the man do his magic trick.
Problem is, T20 is supposed to be the fun format.
Look, I mean, it does get a bit ridiculous when, I suppose, to be fair, it happens everywhere. I mean, you had bloody Aubameyang pulling out bloody Black Panther masks, people hiding dummies in their socks and stuff like that. Like I'm all for a big celebration, but I suppose it does get a bit hectic when people are like carrying props on them at all times, just in case they score a goal and can celebrate.
But just think about the entertainment factor of it as well. Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
think that's where the money's coming in, Steve.
dude, especially like I understand on an international stage, but I mean like the Nzanzi Super League, the entire point is entertainment. Like,
Yo, as competitive as these leagues are, there has to be that sense of entertainment. 'Cause when you put clips on Instagram and stuff, that 100% like attracts people to watch the games.
oh, exactly. I mean, like you watch the PSL previews, and all it is 1,400 step overs in 2 seconds. Come watch it.
Dude, the PSL is the funniest league to
Premier Soccer
watch.
League, chap. It's where it's at.
It's because you'll see these guys do the most ridiculous skills, have the most ridiculous celebrations, but they miss the easiest chances.
I know, dude. But you always see it like you'll see people doing it in their own half, and you're like, well, like, what's the point? But yeah, I don't know. So we got a question here, which I think is quite interesting to talk about. Sayan's asking, what are your expectations of the Proteas from this series? So what do you think? What do you think makes a good series? What do you want out of the series, considering it is a bit of a second string side? Also, that we don't have actually a lot of international cricket coming up, with Australia being pansies.
At least a win.
One
At
dub.
least one win.
One dub.
One more than that will exceed my expectations.
I just want to see the people that we want to come to the World Cup stand up. I want to see Yanama Milan score runs. I want to see Luto try and take a few wickets. I want to see Shamsi. I think Shamsi be consistent is probably one of my biggest wish lists. Just I want to see 4 good spells from him. Like none of this wild today and then trash next game and then really good next game. I want to see consistency from Shamsi. And then I want to see us kind of decide on all rounder. If it's going to be Andile, it's going to be Dwayne. We need to decide what's happening in that chat.
Yeah, no, look, but we can't really expect a lot from these fringe players that probably won't be playing a lot of during the World Cup, considering that's coming up. So
Well,
I mean,
so I was trying to think. I mean, who comes into the side right now? You're gonna have
Kendrick?
Quinton. You're gonna have Quinton. You're gonna have Faf. You're gonna have KG. You're gonna have Anut Nokia, and you're probably gonna have George Lindy. After that, I don't think we'll see Rassi.
I think he makes the squad.
You reckon? Does Temba make the squad?
What's Timber's role?
As at the top of the order with Quinton?
In a political sense, yes, he does. And we both know what I mean.
Yeah,
So,
look, I mean, man, I don't think he's gonna. I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, I'm trying to see it because the average was. The problem is you got Yanama Malone, who's such a destructive player.
that's what I'm saying. That I would like to see Milan open with the cock, but we have to consider other workings at hand.
I mean, look, Temba Boom is sitting with a T20 average of 32. No, I lie. A 35. A 35 average. 133 strike rate. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, for an opener, that's really not bad.
So the question is, I mean, it depends, I suppose. Do you want to have 2 players who are very alike in Yanama Milan and Quinton de Kock who like to go after bowlers early, or do you try to sort of sit there and say, right, we'll have a Temba Vuma and Quinton, and Yanama Milan coming at 3, you can again be an aggressor. It's funny how we have so many options and yet we continuously play such poor cricket.
But we need to be careful in how we use that word options, because there's having good options and bad options, or average options. Because see, let's try to build our dream World Cup 11.
Okay, so AB de Villiers walks in at 3. Now?
Oh, that's a dream, man.
Yeah, you said dream, dude. I'm chucking him in there.
Okay, so let's say this, okay? No holds bars. All our players are available for selection. That includes Abbott, Palmer, de Villiers, Tahir, all these guys that haven't really been included. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so the clock opens.
The clock opens. The question is, who does he open with? Are we going with Temba? I think the Reza Hendricks ship has sailed. I think he's too inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably at this stage between Yanama Milan or Quinton, or not Quinton, Temba.
Timber.
You know, are you going to go aggression up front, or are you going to have someone who can rotate the strike with you and be a bit of a foil?
Well, I mean, what's nice with Timber, he likes to rotate strike as well.
And
You
those
know,
two, and those two just bat very well together. You know,
they
like
have that.
they run well. I mean, I think they're quite effective in the power play.
Mm,
So yeah,
should
so
we?
I think probably
Timber
Milan Timber are the two that, well, for me, are probably the opening options. And then number three,
with everyone available, I would say Duplessis.
or Faf.
Mm.
Yeah,
Then
look,
get De Villiers at 4. I think De Villiers is a much better batsman coming in at 4 than he is at 3.
yeah, and then the big question comes in at who's at five? Are you backing Dave Miller? Is he going to continue being our finisher, or are you going to get, you know?
Well, I think Miller's another person where he needs to understand what his role is in the squad. Is he going to come in? Well, he needs the time to settle. That's the problem.
Man's a fielder who bats a bit.
And yeah, that's another thing.
Remember that match we got man of the match was fielding, dude. What scenes? Scenes. Absolute scenes.
Well, I mean, does he stay in the squad, or do we push Duplessis and De Villiers down to bring in Rusty?
See, I don't think
No,
Rusty makes it, to be honest.
think so.
I don't
The
know.
problem is,
The problem, I thought Rusty,
is
like 2 years ago, Rusty was playing some very nice T20 cricket, but in the last 18 months, yeah, I don't know. Difficult. You know what the
his
problem is
strike rate.
also? T20 World Cups in the
Yeah,
subcontinent.
that's another thing.
So we need Oaks who can play against spin and who can bat in India.
And the problem is Miller can't really play against Spinney himself as well.
Because I
The
think
only
if you're
nice
looking at this team now, I don't think Reza Hendricks is making my starting lineup. I mean, Jacques Snyman's got a chance here, but I don't think he's making it.
to prove
Klaassen,
something.
I think Klaassen's just so frustrating. He's just too inconsistent. He's had,
Well, yeah, Crossan's another one that's in the conversation. You know,
for me, he's just the problem is like he can play a really good innings, and after that, he just plays he can play some very average one.
yeah.
You know, checking Dave Miller's T20 stats at the moment. Right, Dave Miller, you know he's our fourth highest T20 run scoring batsman, and if he scores 100 in the series, over 100 runs in the series, he goes into number 3.
Wouldn't be surprised. He's played a lot of
Fun fact:
T20
he's played
cricket, but
78 matches, he's got an average of 29, 100, 250s, strike rate of 138.
that's underwhelming a little bit.
Look, he is a finisher. Yeah, look, I'd like to say average closer to sort of 35, but that strike rate did 138. Oosh, man can hit a ball so hard.
But the problem is he only likes pace on the ball. That's his game.
Yeah.
You know, towards the end of the days, when he gets pace on the ball, he deals with it.
So are we seeing a shoot-off here, like almost a straight, direct shootout between Yaman Milan and Reza Hendricks? Reza Hendricks has had a lot of opportunities. He's had some good innings. He had some bad ones. Yaman Milan, I think it's his third T20. He's had has had next to no cricket so far.
I still don't think Hendricks gets back into the squad. I really don't. I think that ship sailed.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I'm going to try and pull up the stats here. Well, I'm sure we'll see on the screen now. But I just think, here we go. It's 25 T20s, an average of 25, a strike rate of 118, 450s, you know, high score of 74. Pretty underwhelming.
I'd like to see how he faces spin. Like I know we've seen quite a bit of him now, but it's it's close to selection time.
Well, I mean, we can't be sitting there with too much experimenting. And we'll chat a little about the test team as well, because there's somebody in the comments about that. But I think for the T20, I think the biggest frustration is if Australia hadn't just buckled earlier, we could have kept the rest of the squad and actually started trying to work towards a final squad. And now we've got debutants and stuff like that playing. But
well, I mean, it also gives the opportunity for like Miller, Milan, and Klaassen to come in, push themselves to try and making that starting 11 for that World Cup.
But I think we're seeing a straight shootout here between Reza and Yanman. Not necessarily for the starting opening position, but to be in the squad.
Well, I mean, they can. I think the one opener spot is really open.
Yeah,
You
look, I
know,
mean, as I said, I mean, I think you're probably going to take two players who can open the batting, or potentially becoming a three. So I reckon we're
Mm.
going to see one of a Temba, Yanomala, and Risa Hendricks.
it's a straight shootout
It's
between
just
those two.
yeah.
But Steve, we straying a bit away. That number five position is still a bit of a
Well, I mean, it
headache.
also depends on your sort of spinning all rounders. You know, I mean, John Smats is not playing, which I think was quite a strange one for me. I'm surprised he didn't play. Um, so and also that all rounder, because I would have no issue with seeing Dwayne Pretorius walk out of five if you're going to back Dwayne Pretorius as your all rounder.
Mm. And he can bat at five. We've seen him
Oh yes,
opening
well, judge there. You know, Malana's a little late age.
with going for the edge.
Hey, you take it anyhow, anywhere they come, dude. Anywhere they come.
uh, but so what do you think? You rate it's the likes of Smuts, Pretorius.
Well, I think we could be seeing a it depends on if we want to go for a genuine batter number five, or we want to try and use it for an all rounder spot. It also depends on how many bowling options we want to have. You
Yeah,
know, if we want to have 5, 6 bowling options, then you need to have 2, 3 all rounders. So,
no, but if
oh,
we
living,
that's plum, hey.
dude. I thought he had nicked it, then I thought he was bowled. Now I'm seeing it's an LBW shot. I don't know what's going on there.
And they're probably gonna send it
You
upstairs
know
as
that
well. Shouldn't
fun fact? Before we go on, I said this earlier. Alim Dar has never ever gotten a review wrong in T20 cricket, T20
no,
internationals. 10 out of 10
is
reviews they've gone against him, and they've gone, nah, he was right.
that is the. But surely, if it's a neck, the keeper should have heard it.
Hey, dude, I don't know.
Surely.
This yeah, somebody was saying in the comments here that at this stage we're not playing Test cricket until December. Hey,
So what do we have on the schedule?
I don't think we have much in the schedule, to be honest.
Because now I know we have the T20 Challenge coming up, and I would love our Proteas players to be playing in it to
Well,
make it
it's the
look.
only way I'm going to watch anything. If I'm going to see a half-baked competition, at least put some decent players in there.
Well, I mean, that's what I really our Proteas players need to be playing in that because they need to be playing as much cricket as possible.
Yeah, but they've also got the IPL coming up.
That's
Yeah, you
another thing.
see, 11 out of 11. He's the goat. He is the goat.
But surely the keeper would hear a nick.
Hey, dude, I don't know, but Alim is just the goat, dude. Doesn't get any better. Doesn't get any better.
Surely you hear a nick, dude. That's so horrendous. Rizwan. Oh my god.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought at first it was caught. And then I thought he was bowled. Like, I
No,
was trying to decide what the sound
well,
was.
he didn't go for the catch, and luckily he didn't.
I think we need to get Alim on the podcast. Get some chats over there. So yeah, so I mean, going back to the conversation for the number five. Yeah, I think we can see an all rounder there. To be honest, problem is, I mean, who are spinners going to be? So you're going to have Shamsi.
Yeah.
It sounds like to hear it doesn't seem to really be in the plans, to be honest. Just otherwise he'd be playing.
So, but I mean, like I said now, no holds barred. Everyone's available. So we're gonna take two legs in our team.
Yeah, I feel like it would be worse things to do. Look, I suppose you've also got I reckon the IPL is going to be an audition. I mean, who's got IPL contracts here?
Mm. There's not a lot of South Africans.
Because I mean, it's in India, so
Yeah.
if anything's going to be able to show you who you can play in those conditions.
Yeah. So obviously the Cock, Duplessis, KG, Nokia, Tahir, I believe, still has his contract. Ooh.
Yeah, so 5 without a loss. I don't think it's the worst first. That was just me. Was that a long first over?
Yeah, that felt very long.
Even without the review, it was just a long first over.
Overrate.
Here we go. So we've got 38 South Africans registered for the auction.
Oh, yeah.
When is the
You
auction?
contracts.
I know Dale Stein's not going to play in it.
Dude, they were saying is skateboarding,
He's
fishing.
doing everything but playing cricket. He's out.
That oak is all but retired now.
Right, I'm just trying to load this article to see which players have registered for the auction. Right, here we go. So retained at the moment. So Mumbai retained Quinton, Delhi retained KG and Nokia. Chennai retained Faf, Lungi, and Imran. Royal Challengers retained AB. Royals retained Dave Miller. It doesn't actually tell you which 38 players are registered for the auction.
Oh, I mean, that's big for Miller that he kept his contract.
He just never really comes off in the IPL, does he? Like not enough times anyway.
What it was that one season where that's where he got his name of being a finisher. That he went off, and then from there he kind of
Then you
disappeared.
remember they gave him the captaincy. He just buckled.
Because they loved him.
Miller time, dude. Everybody just, dude. When you've got your own little thing, dude, like Miller time and the Mr. 360, then you're so sorted. When you've got that little branding thing, then you're operating. It doesn't matter what happens. You can just everybody just backs you.
Just where the sponsorship money comes in.
Oh, dude.
Next thing you find yourself on all these Indian ads, dude. It's banking us.
Oh, what great shot by Hendricks there. Sorry, it's Yanneman. Yeah, you see, back Yanneman.
It was a good shot though.
Yeah. 9 of 7. This is the thing with the power play, dude. I want us to be going at 6 and over here.
We're asking for a lot now.
Come on. You've got gaps in the field. Opening batsmen need to be able to pick the gaps.
That's true. And also
run hard, run your twos, try and get 6 and over. Because if you're 60 without a loss, or even 60 for 1 after the power play, life takes on a whole new meaning.
It's very true. But South African batting always just has that collapse there.
Yeah, we love a shuffle. Because I think we can't give ourselves too much to do at the end. We've got to get off to a front foot start here.
I mean, it depends who is there at the end,
Look, there are some bats. Look, I mean, our last 3 players can't bat, but one in matches. If we're 7 down, then we're done.
Yeah.
But until then, problem is I'm still very wary about this whole all-rounder tag attached to a pet require. I don't back it.
So what do you think he is?
He's a bowler who knows who knows which side of the bat to hold. Man can play a couple of shots, but I definitely wouldn't call him an all-rounder. I just don't think he's got the technique. He can play. He's got a good sweep. He's got a good reverse sweep. But can you count on him to come out and save a match? He plays some very important knocks. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a big difference between a bowler who can bat and an all-rounder.
Well, I don't think he's necessarily pure-blooded all-rounder. It's that bowling all-rounder tag, which it's also dicey.
Yeah, but still, I don't even think he is a bowling all-rounder. I just think he's a bowler who can bat. I get very wary about the all-rounder tag.
That's pretty well though. To be fair to him.
Look, he bats. I mean, he's got a decent ODI. I mean, his ODI average is 29, so I can go with that. An ODI cricket he's got, but I think his T20 average is 10. 10. Yeah, shot. You see, gaps. Play the power play.
That's Reza now.
Yeah, but that's what he must do, dude. But Reza always does this. Reza always starts well. Is whether he can go. He's a bit like a Markham, where he plays some really good shots up front, and then he goes out stupidly.
Oh, geez, that's another person I actually worry about. Is Markham's
T20s? Not T20s, dude. I mean, he's never played the IPL. ODIs, we can maybe start chatting about bringing him back in. I don't think T20s.
And the problem is we can't really look at his domestic T20 record because it's so ridiculous.
Dude, remember when he in the One Day Cup when I think he made like 150 in that One Day Cup game, and all he was doing is he was just stepping in line with the ball, just hitting everything over the top, just straight.
Like he can be so destructive, but he's so inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most frustrating players in the world. On his day, just looks so good to watch.
But I think, so going back to the whole test chat, he looks good in the test arena when he takes his time and not necessarily looks out to attack.
Yeah, well, I think that's
Um,
the thing.
but
He needs to earn the right player shots.
I think he should learn a lot now from playing with Alba for so long on, being patient.
I mean that 100 he scored in the test now, best innings I've ever seen him play. Because he
Yeah.
wore down the bowlers, he really stuck it in, he earned the right to play some shots. You know, when it was there for hits, he went after it. And I think that's what he just needs to learn. And I think, to be fair, I think he's proved a lot of people, including me, wrong that he can be a test opener. Because in the Sri Lanka series, I just sat there looking and saying, you can see he's got the shots, but he's too aggressive. He doesn't have that opening
I think
thing.
that's he's just too aggressive.
But now in this Pakistan series, I think obviously maybe trying to prove a point. Maybe he's been hearing all the sort of criticism and the fact that he's been too aggressive, and now he's decided, right, well, let me actually become a test opener. Let me bat my 100 or 200, you know? Not 100 or
Well,
102.
we just tell him that.
Now somebody can just tell Bloody Quinton, yeah, and we'll be sorted.
You can't. Someone like Quinton, you can't change his playing style.
Dude, he just can't do it. He sees that ball outside off, and he's just
He's
like,
a kid.
oh,
You can't change his mentality.
yeah. Chris Morris, somebody jumping in the comments. What do you reckon about Chris Morris?
He's done.
He's finished. I know he was released from the
He's,
IPL.
yeah, and he's back with the Titans now as well. But
I think he's available for
done.
selection. I don't know if is he injured at the moment because he didn't really play in the or is he just signed now, for the T20 Cup?
Now, yeah, I don't know if he was injured or what was happening with him, but all of a sudden he just popped back up. But I think Morris ran his course at our last World Cup. I think that was his.
Played very well in that World Cup. I was actually quite surprised at how well he did play.
After I told you and Dan that he still has it in him.
The thing is, he just hasn't really shown it enough.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, I think his time is done with Hussein. It's
for me, I think he's always wanted to play for South Africa, but I think he's always been quite during the whole T20 circuit. I don't think he ever really sort of was going to knuckle down, stay in South Africa, and try and build his way into creating a big international career. He had the opportunity to go for big money and go play in the big T20s, and he took that route. Somebody very distant to Rassie van der Dussen, who has just stayed in South Africa and plugged away to earn his way into the setup.
I'm very surprised that he did that as well, van der Dussen.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, but I think he said himself. He said he just never really fancied doing that whole route. He said he just wants to play for South Africa. He wants to stay here, and so hey, it's worked.
Well, I mean, we have a very I don't know if it's a good thing, but we're building a history of picking up these, especially Lions batsmen that are in their 30s coming into the squad and hoping that they do well.
Well, it's like a whole different sort of dynamic. When you can pick somebody who's 30 years old, who's played 10 years of first-class cricket, they know what their game is. You're not sitting there like with a 21-year-old batsman who's never really faced, reverse swing, saying, right, well, this is how you're going to play it. This is what you're going to do.
But 10 years of experience is a lot, Steve. We're only going to get 3 to 5 years of good cricket out of them, and then they're done.
But I suppose it's a trade-off, because sometimes when you take a youngster, it takes 2 to 3 years to get them to that level. So you might have them for 8 years, but the first 2 to 3 were them trying to step up that level, as opposed to getting people who are already at that level, so can sort of kick on immediately, and yet you're only getting sort of 6 years out of there. So it's quite a sort of 50-50 sort of debate there to try and work that one out. What I would like to see, I think, is more youngsters playing short spells all over the world. Not necessarily T20 cricket as well. I mean, how nice would it be to see youngsters going and playing first-class cricket in India or in Sri Lanka? I have no idea what the standard's like, but so that they're not, when they go over to play a Sri Lankan Test match, that's the first time they're ever facing a ball on a Sri Lankan surface. Go and play county cricket. I think it was so good for the Proteas when they actually started going overseas and playing county cricket.
I think guys like Jonathan Bird, Renaud Fontonda, Joe could see it. They should take advantage of going over to the UK because I'm sure they would pick up contracts easy.
We need to have more SAA tours as well. You know, go and play, go and take a team of the next generation and go and play. Spend a month in India, play all formats.
Mm.
As you say, let somebody like Rena Fontona, Jonathan Bird, let them go and bat in India with a white ball, with a red ball. Learn the
I think
surface.
more Red Bull now if we really talking about from Tondo because he's been looking great domestically.
Yeah.
My word.
It's a matter of time before he gets his chance to that test setup. He's just becoming too good to ignore. But even Keegan Peterson, who's been around, haven't really had a chance to see much of him.
I mean, I wish I could see him more domestically, like live, just to see how he actually plays. Because I've obviously seen the standard few clips on YouTube and all of that, and it's good to see it, but
Oh, that's a great shot.
need more.
There we go. Playing on the boundary. Thank you, Yannaman.
I think we need more from. I would like to see these guys go overseas.
Yeah, I just want to see them play more cricket outside South Africa, and have that experience so that we're not always just in. Like, I mean, no, when you're playing in Pakistan, look, I mean, it's very exceptional circumstances because we just haven't played there for the last decade. But, just like, Patrick BC was the only player to have ever played in Pakistan.
Yeah,
Because he played in that T20 challenge, But a lot of the time, when you go over and you play in India with such a young team, you have like 5, 6 players. It's the first time ever in India. Now they must go and play against one of the best sides in the world whilst they still know the conditions. Whereas if they've got more of these sort of A team touring sides, which can spend time in different conditions.
I think COVID is impacting their tours now.
Well, no, what happened there?
Dude, why are these guys playing noughts and crosses? Actually, that thing's been bothering me the whole series,
I
man.
know, dude, this whole noughts and crosses thing.
Dude, what is going on?
Between noughts and crosses and the amount of tea I've had to see being drunk. Oh, you idiot. Oh, you idiot. No, man, you've got to put it at the bottom there. Well, they both get prizes, so what's the issue? Also, who are these guys? So they can't have fans. So, like, do they just grab the groundsman and say, can you play noughts and crosses against the TV producer?
I'm sure, because there's no way there can be fans.
Well, that's the thing. There's no fans there. So who are these people?
It has to be the ground. What did they get?
Shot! See,
This is looking
aggression.
so good.
Aggression. Now,
This is looking so good.
Now, these 2 overs are important. We need to try and score reasonably in these 2 overs.
But yeah, Steve, do you not think COVID is impacting these A series tours?
I feel like we didn't really have them in the year or 2 before either. When was the last time we had a South Africa A tour?
Did they not? Ooh. I think the last one we had was like against India, and that was like a year or 2 ago.
I mean, we used to have those spin camps, for example, where all the spinners used to go over for a little bit. Go and learn how to be spinners.
Yeah.
It always killed me, right? We're going to send them to India. And they come back and we're like, well, it didn't really make much of a difference.
They even take like England as well. They like to go to Dubai and see their guys.
They love that I think it's like the Lions or something like that. They've actually got a name and they often go on tours and stuff like that.
I think we need to start investing in that. Take our guys to like England or something. But
even the Caribbean and stuff like that. Go and play in New Zealand. Go and play in like really difficult batting conditions.
I don't think New Zealand's too bad as batting conditions. I think that's just more green top.
Have you seen those pitches? Have you seen what Trent Bolt does in that country?
Trent Bolt swings the ball this much.
It's like Anderson with a juke ball. It's just not fun.
Oh, okay. We're getting moving a bit here, which is good.
Yes, boy. You see, Yannaman heard the chat and was like, cool. I'm going.
Dude, even saying this Harris guy, dude, I've never really rated him, eh?
Who?
This bowler.
Yeah, look. I mean, as long as he's shit against us, then we're good.
Because he came up, he came onto the scene in the BBL. Yes, because I watched the BBL, Steve.
Yeah, I have no interest in that tournament at the moment.
He was taking a lot of wickets and stuff, and then he's just there. He's not bowling great though, not great lines. Just they can't play him.
Oh, that's very well played. That is so well played. How is that? Bounce like, click, roll the wrist, cheers.
Mm.
That's a
See,
lovely shot.
this oak's not bowling good lines.
Yeah, I just can't
But
believe. How did he pull this? Yo, man, just like chucked his head out the way and said, "Cool, we'll do it." Did you see that whole thing about Klaasen saying that with that they're not a second string side? And everyone's
yes.
like we said 13 players home, and I reckon like 8 of them get into the side. Mate, you are a second string side. I hate to break it to you.
Oh, it's such good cricket now.
Oh yes, thank you very much. 3 in a row.
Dude, he missed the signs, team. He missed the money sign.
Yo, nice. He's going for it, dude. He's in there. He's like, I'm setting myself up here. I'm taking home $1,000. Hey, dude, $1,000. Exchange rate, come here, young 15K. My mate always sees him out in Cape Town. So,
I was gonna say, that's a nice holiday there.
yo, that's a lovely. I mean, dude, what kind of ball is that? Bounce the leg. I mean, he's done it 3 times now. He's gone the same place 3 times.
Some bowling good legs.
Told you, dude. I 160 at the end of the power play. We're on track here.
Such good cricket, man. Jeez. Dude, I love how they emphasize the sign.
Dude, he keeps doing it. Not again.
That's a good shot, though.
I mean, that's a little bit bad, but dude.
Well, we needed that.
I mean, how is he still dropping it short? He's just been pulled twice and flicked all the stuff, and he puts it short again.
Dude, he forgets these are South African bowlers. I mean, batsmen that face those hard bounces coming in. And as well, we saw the change ups were looking good in when we were bowling. The Oak's bowling the same pace.
If this drops it short again, dude, I'm gonna have a laugh. Surely can't drop it short again. He's been pulled 4 times. Well, more for 27 after 1.5 ish. Takes the single. What an over. That's what 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 off the over. Moy. Gee, 17 off the next over, and I'm haps.
I mean, you're going way quicker than I expected right now.
This is what I'm saying. You've got to take advantage of the power play. Because then, the thing is, if you take advantage of the power play, you can afford to not take too many risks in the middle overs. And you can try and go for 8 and over. Just work it around, try and get 1 boundary and over, and then just hit the singles. And then at 15 overs, you've got wickets, men in the share, wickets in hand, you can go for it.
Well, I think that's such an important thing about, and I learned that during our RIPL tournament, where we were very, in the middle overs, not a lot of people were looking for the singles, the twos and stuff. Everyone was just trying to get boundaries. If you get a boundary and over and you're taking your singles, changes the complexion of an over very quickly.
Exactly. So another comment another comment in the comment section, funny enough. Asking our take on Mulder. Is Mulder our next Jacques Kallis? He didn't say that. I'm just saying.
we can't.
But is he finally the all rounder we have been looking for? And I'm not saying. I mean, no one's going to be a Jacques Kallis, but every team's got an all rounder, a genuine all rounder.
I think he's getting there. Look, I've been wanting him to be there for a long time, but we just thrusted him into
far too early.
We can't call up an 18-year-old and say it's the next shot. We'll just say
that is a great shot.
That's 4A, yo.
That's 6 all the way. Cheers, boys. He's picked it up so nice. That's a great shot. The elbow, picturesque. Rolls his finger across. Cheers.
Yes, and I hate this other guy as well. Yo.
Listen, Reza, it's getting late for you, chap.
So Mulder will get there. I think in the test arena I think it's fine if he stays in the squad now and he builds his test career. Now we just have to see him in the shorter formats what he can do.
Yeah, facts. I don't think he's anywhere near playing T20 cricket just yet, but ODIs, he's a good batsman.
Full
toss.
His bowling as well is a very, very big plus because he's kind of like Pretorius where he bowls those good
That's
lines.
the thing. If
You
you
know,
just put a ball on a dime
sure, that's all you need.
to strike rate in the slot 500, I suppose that's how it should be.
But it's. I think a lot of people have expectations of what an all-rounder, how an all-rounder should bowl, especially one that bowls medium pace. Do you want him to be that wicket-taking option and he can lead the runs, or do you want him to bowl those tight lines where he's not conceding a lot, but he's not really doing much?
I think the problem is Ben Stokes kind of ruined what an all-rounder should be. Because the standard thing is to always compare to Stokes,
Yeah,
where he's just. But I mean, Stokes is somebody who can bowl in the 140s.
yeah, no, yeah.
Man's quick,
That's just
fast, and then he's a ludicrously good batsman, and so that's
yeah,
always the constant thing. So I think that if we can get Mull to sort of averaging 35 in Test cricket, 30 to 35 Test cricket, and be a useful bowler, then yeah, I think that's exactly what we need. We just need someone who can bat down the order and can
yeah.
bat and just because I mean the tail at the moment is just too deep.
Well, I mean, he did bat well in the game in the last Test match.
He's been quite frustrating, I think, because I think you can see he's. I don't think his scores reflect his ability. I mean, this is a guy who's got about 3 first-class tons.
Yeah.
I think he's got more than that actually.
Well, he scored. He recently scored one in the first part of the 4-day cup. He did score a century, and he got thrusted back into selection for the Sri Lanka series. So he has it in him.
I want to check how many he's got. Yeah, 5 first-class tons.
Mm.
So yeah, look, I mean, man can bat. I mean, in many ways, it's quite funny how his bowling sort of been better. But I mean, when he was first brought into the scene, the whole sort of thing was we've got our batting all-rounder, hence the Jacques Kallis comparisons early on. But he's definitely. I mean, if you look at his first class career, he's got first class average of 38, 550s, 500s. I mean, you could talk about that conversion rate for a start.
Yeah.
But then you look at his bowling in first class cricket, and it's 36 matches, 62 innings, 100 wickets, average of 24, economy of 3.26, strike rate of 45. I mean, it's good bowling. But you don't look at that and think that, like, cool, that's like next level. So I think his batting is probably more impressive. He does have a best of 7 for 25. This is me.
Yeah, well, coming out of school, I think everyone just knew him as a really good batsman that was very good with the ball.
Well, I mean, if you go to St. Stephen's, if you go to the school where he came from, and you go into that change room, you just see on the honours board just fifers and hundreds everywhere. It was Mulder that was there. Ryan Rickleton was everywhere. Just see those people were just next level at school. Right, here we go, dude. This is a big moment.
Dude, Ryan Rickleton's another player that I would have loved to see him today.
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised he's not playing. I didn't think he would get a chance. You might see him. What I'd like to see is to try touch wood, getting very greedy here, and just try and win the first 2 as much as possible, and then just give a couple of extra run in the third one.
Well, I mean, like I said, Steve, one win for me is great. That's within my expectations.
Problem is Ryan Rickleton has to make it as a batsman. There are so many wicketkeepers in the country at the moment.
That's so true. There's a lot of wicketkeepers.
I mean, you've got Carl Verheyen. You've got Chile. There are lots of wicketkeepers at the moment.
But he's also been very underwhelming since he's gone into the first class scene.
Who?
Wandile Mokwetu.
Yeah, but I mean, you've also got Grant Rulofsson. That's another wicketkeeper. It's just wicketkeepers at the moment. I mean, I think he's averaging in the 40s across all 3 formats. He's 24. So yeah, there's just so many wicketkeepers in the country.
Well, I think Carl Verena will be our next big wicketkeeper. Win the cock eventually.
Yeah, look, I think it sounds like that's what I'm saying. So that's why I think that the likes of Rudolfsson and the likes of Rickleton, Kashile, even if Wandile Mokwetu makes a step up, they're going to have to try and make it as batsmen because I think wicket-keeping wise, our stocks are good.
Which is never a bad thing to have, really good wicketkeepers.
No, never. Dude, you should have seen in the first innings, just watching him do this run up. So Shams, Shams often sometimes bowls the ball where he stutters and he kind of like stops and then goes.
No.
Reason watched him bowl the ball, and then as the ball's mid-flight, just like pulls out of the wing, puts his bat in the way, and like looks at the umpire. And it was a dead ball. It was such a load of nonsense, dude.
Why was it called a dead ball, though?
Dude, it was bizarre. Like he just
Is he taking the stance?
took a start, saw that he stuttered, watched him bowl, and then was like, I don't understand, dude.
That's so ridiculous.
Oh dear, you get some better than that. Well, I thought it was dusted there.
But that's so dumb, though.
It was very.
Why would you just stop?
It was very weird. I don't know why. Like you know what it is? One thing if he stopped before he bowled, but he literally stopped while the ball was like midway through the air. Like he watched him bowl it and then was like, "Nah, I'm out."
No, I need to see that. That's so ridiculous.
I've never seen something like that in cricket. Oh my living! That is such a good ball. Jeepers. And he's gone. Janneman departs for a very well played. What is it? 46 there? 44? That is a brilliant delivery. My goodness.
That's the problem with leg spin.
That's the thing, dude. Leg spinners, when they get it right, drifts across, beats the outside edge, outside of the off stump. If you want to show a young leggy what your dream wicket is, that's it.
Where's Denim? You get Denim on those.
Leggy corner. So 44-29. That's a good start, though. Can't complain about that.
So who's in down? Sneeman, yeah.
Yeah, Sneeman, the debutant. Who I think like several publications were like, yeah, the off spinner. It's like you realize he's a batsman. That's like a first class average of like 40. And they're like, yeah, the leg spinner. He's handy with the bat. This is the problem when people just don't like watch cricket.
Yeah, but domestic cricket isn't great in our country right now. Yeah?
Imagine being called an off spinner when you've got a first class average of 46 with 500s. A list A average of 38. People calling him a bowler. I mean, people are stupid.
Well, those are people that don't watch domestic cricket or just don't know what's going on in domestic cricket.
Which is too many people, unfortunately, in this country.
Oh, especially now since domestic cricket really isn't in a shining light with all these.
I don't know how I missed. What kind of shot is that first up? Imagine you went on your first ball of your debut.
It's not good, Steve.
It was me. I was terrible.
Dude, domestic cricket is just nowhere in this country, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just like the MSL's sick, and then after that, everyone's just like, "Nah, we don't care." Whatever.
The problem is the MSL just has the entertainment factor and bringing the overseas players come in and all of that, and it's like, ooh, exciting stuff. And then from there, when it comes to the hard domestic cricket side, it's just like, oh, boring.
Yeah, it's a problem.
But it's actually good that the likes of Palmer is coming back and he wants to be in selection cases and Abbott.
Dude, we need to make a first class cricket down here like exciting. Like why? I mean, you look at county cricket, dude. First of all, the money in county cricket, but also the players. You had like Sangakkara playing county cricket. Can you imagine having people like some of the best players in the world playing domestic cricket? Imagine going down to the Wanderers to watch Joe Root playing, just playing first class cricket.
But that means our domestic system needs to be a bit more competitive because right now it is very lopsided.
Yeah, our entire domestic scene just needs a whole rehaul. Which they're trying to do. They're doing a whole very different thing. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but they are trying.
What is happening with the whole new restructuring of the teams?
There's like two tiers now, and there's more teams, but there's actually less. It's weird. There's more teams, but there's less contract players. The way like it kind of all that's very confusing. Like we'll probably have to like dedicate an entire podcast just break it down exactly stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very nice shot there by Uzi Hendricks. He finds the boundary. It's a good start here for South Africa.
I think it's quite good that Reeza's taking his time.
Well, I think now he has to become more aggressive. You've always got to have one player who's going to take the responsibility on. So now that Janneman's back in the shed, Hendricks has to step up. Yeah, 57 for 1 and the 7.3 is decent though. Jeepers, that's
But I
crazy.
think
Even
right
for,
now he's more worried of staying in than probably being aggressive for now. I think when it gets to the turnover mark, he'll start playing more shots. Geez, Steve, a name that just popped into my head. What happened to Hamza?
I know. Came in for the test here. I think it was against England, wasn't it?
No, it
It
was
was Sri Lanka. But it could be in
no,
Pakistan.
it was
Yeah, it was
Pakistan because
Pakistan. Yeah, it was Shaheen Afridi was first playing. It was a couple of years ago. And the whole thing was that he can play spin and stuff like that. So he came in, he looked really good. Took him to India, had a reasonable knock. Just cheers. I mean, he's captaining the Cobras at the moment, so.
progress, I guess.
But his domestic form's dropped off. I mean, that season when he got selected, I think he scored like 2 double tons.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the Wanderers for that game that he got caught up for. I think he came straight from USA A League into
Yeah,
into the test
he
as well.
was playing varsity cricket and then say
Yeah.
straight to test team.
And he looked so good. I don't know if that was just the beers talking there or just just me watching a really good innings, but he was looking
He
really
looked.
good.
The thing
And
is, he
then
looked good. His technique looked good. Like he looked very, very solid. And then just kind of struggled to kick on from there.
so, do you think that domestic form is also just gone?
Look, maybe he's a confidence player. The one that I reckon, I mean, Carl Verreynne is supposed to be like generational talent wise. Ashwell Prince just said that like he's next level. Like you cannot actually
Yeah.
fathom how this kid is proper.
Well, I
So
mean, even remember when we even spoke to him a bit after that the one MSL game when they used to before used to seemed like genuinely nice work as well.
look, I don't care how nice he is. He just score runs.
Well, he probably can score.
Oh my word! This is Josh Namath's not having a good time yet.
See, it is just very good leg spinning bowling.
But also like he's also been made to look good. He hasn't picked a single delivery yet. So how did he keep that out?
He's got quite a good T20 career as well.
Well, I don't think he plays much leg spin when he was in that career because he's been stuffed around here.
Well, we don't have many leg spinners in the country as is.
Sure. I mean, he hasn't come close to this.
This is probably another problem. We don't have a lot of great spinners in the country.
That's why our playing against spinners always so bad, is because we just don't face it enough.
Although I did see the Cobras during the Women's One Day Cup. They fielded 3 spinners a game, I believe.
Okay, well that's been flat battered. I actually remember seeing that. And apparently the Durban's been very spin friendly in the last year or two.
But is it friendly or is it just slow pitches?
Yeah,
You know?
well, spin friendly, but they're saying like spin's been playing a much bigger part in the last couple of years.
When was the last time we even played there as well? Jeez. It's like we only play
We
there
must stop playing in Durban, dude. There's no point. Fans don't come. We don't do particularly well. Doesn't suit our team. I'd rather play in Blom.
maybe Podge, dude.
Same as Park.
But imagine a game there. Just during varsity. Then would pack
No,
out.
exactly. That's the thing. That's what we need more of. Yeah,
Oh
I
no.
worry about these two spinners here.
The leg is like a stress factor right now.
There's also just like the run rate just drops because you can't go you can't go after them. You're too scared to go after them.
That's a problem.
So
And Salmon was struggling as well.
109 or 67. So this is the problem. If the run rate just drops too much, then we leave ourselves with too much to do. Oh my living. I told you, dude, that guy wasn't seeing anything. He was not seeing anything when it came to the leggies there. He was not picking a single thing there.
Oh,
I've never seen someone look so uncomfortable against spin in my life. That was unbelievable. I don't think he, as I said, I don't think he picked one.
God. It was literally the last ball though, man.
Oh no, it's gone terribly.
It's Miller time.
So after that great start, suddenly, why isn't Klaassen coming in?
That's actually a good question.
He was down to coming at 4. So why are we sending the guy who can't play spin in when you've got a guy who
He, prob-
can play spin? Well, play spin better
he, prob-
anyway.
he probably wants to come in.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me. Klaassen's a good sweeper. Miller likes
I
passing
think
the ball.
come in and see the ball. That's the problem, and he needs that time to settle in.
I would have brought him into the back and said, "Here's the seamers, go for it."
I do not have a good feeling right now about where this innings is going.
Because killing Miller, dude. Hashtag it's Miller time.
No, I'm not backing it. I have such a bad feeling of where this innings is going to go now.
It's just when
Lost these two wickets
spinners
very
start doing
quickly.
this, it's just it just doesn't bode well for us, does it?
Well, I just hope that Miller doesn't play any stupid shots like Snellman tried to do it.
Yeah, no, it's a problem.
Dude, just to ask, is it looking quite dusty outside by your house?
We're chilling here, we're moving here.
It's so dusty by my house. I'm wondering what's going on, dude. I'm wondering if the apocalypse is coming or something.
Well, dude, we've had such terrible weather in Johannesburg in the last couple of weeks. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, it rained. I'm sure you're still awake. It rained Christmas last night for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, we had. I think we had like 30 mils last night. We had a lot of rain here. Yo, dude, he did not pick that at all. It was like a tail ender here.
That's so early. Yeah, man, the working life of a man. Never know these days.
Dude, this is the problem. The run rate's starting to slip here. I mean, now us is going at 4 and over. We can't really afford that, to be honest.
But also, Reese's not looking to play any big shots right now.
This is the thing, though. Reason needs to take on the mantle. You've got two. You had got a new batsman in the crease here. He's been there since the beginning. He's been there for 9 overs. I don't care that he's only faced 20 balls. Not my problem. He needs to take on
Dude,
the
Reese
ownership here.
takes off. He's only made 16.
As we can't really afford ones here. I mean, the required run rate's moving up towards 12. Basically, is 12.
Yeah. Well, we're leaving ourselves way too much in the back end.
Well, I mean, it's fine for looking over to you, but like now, you've got to start now going at 7, 8, and over. You can't be sitting there. You can't let the run rate creep up too much. And this is my problem with chasing is that we kind of leave ourselves, at sort of 10 and over the last couple, and it's just too much then. And then you have to go for big shots, then you get caught in shit. So you've still got to try and find a boundary and over here.
Controlled by spin.
It wouldn't be a South African match if we just didn't buckle against spin, would it?
That's so true. So we also, as a country, need to start looking at building up a core again. Batting core, or just even just a core of the squad again. Because right now, we don't really know what's really going on.
I mean, really.
Our batting is aging, which is a bit of a worry. 'Cause, like, 10 and over the last couple, and it's just too much. So, if you start looking at building up a core again, batting core, like we, or just even just a core of the squad again. Because right now, we don't really know what's really going on. I mean, really. Our batting is aging, which is a bit of a worry. Basically, when is the next what's the start? This test with India and England.
It must be in the next couple of days.
Steve, did you catch the Everton game by any chance last night?
I was had load shedding. I want to talk
Oh
about it. I was
yes.
just sitting there getting the notifications of this wild football game that I just couldn't watch. And this is becoming quite. I mean, 66 for 2 after 10 is not where we wanted to be. I mean, after the start that old Yannerman got us off to, we slowed right down here. And you usually double your score at 12. So we need to try and get up to 80 in the next 2 overs, really.
We are going to struggle in the back end now.
I think we're having a bit of a.
What the spinners when the spinners come off, I think we'll be fine. I think the fast bowlers haven't been bowling good lengths, to be honest.
Yeah, chats. But the problem is, I mean, will there be too much to do when by the time the seamers come back, you know?
In T20, there's not really, I couldn't really say there's too much to do towards the back end of an innings. Anything can happen. These super sport ads kill me. My word.
Dude, this just all looks way too active for my liking, to be honest. Your 55-year-old Bully's just ripped to shreds, dude.
What?
I've got an excuse, dude. I've got a buggered knee. I can't be doing such things. I see people jumping and I just wince. You know, I mean, I could be paying for the protest at the moment, but you know, rehab's not really allowing for it.
I mean, Steve, you need to go for another op.
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So, gonna be just forced to just sit back
You
and
still
watch sports.
you still have time for your call up, Steve. It's never too late.
T20 World Cup's in what's in October, eh? So I still got to hopefully try and make the RPL. You know, 4 week to get back to full fitness. Got a bit of a hit out there.
And all you need to do is just come off an IPL. That's all you need.
Yeah, I mean it's just a couple of innings really. Get one of those late contracts, and then you just do a normal Pangolo. Where you have a worldie 2 games in a row.
You just get that 6 month contract.
Yeah, and then you're fine.
You're fine, dude.
Dude, have you seen that whole thing that Kohli's like the last 4 Test matches, he's been beaten by like 8 wickets, 10 wickets, like 200 runs. Been absolutely thrashed in the last couple of Tests he's captain.
Just been a standard by us, really. Standard that we've set.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dude. He got absolutely thrashed in Australia, then he left, and Rahane took over, and then they came back. So now everyone's just like raging. Why is Kohli captaining?
Well, they can't really say that it's Cody.
Hey, man, doesn't captain well, dude. Last couple of Tests, they're struggling. They're struggling.
No, as a struggling captain myself, dude, I understand. You know what he's going.
Yeah, except you didn't have the likes of Pujara to you in your Arsenal.
That's very
And
true.
Rohit Sharma and Rahane and Ashwin and yourself as the best batsman in the world.
And Rishabh Pant as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so the Super Soppers have been out. So hopefully nice dry field here.
Oh, we really need to just get over and done with these spinners. They're punching us.
I mean, Hendricks, 16 of 21 is not really good enough, is it?
That's why I'm saying he's playing right now.
I mean, Usman's bowled 2 overs for 4 runs. For 4 runs. How can you have someone with an economy of 2 in T20 cricket? Now has got an economy of 4 across 3 overs. I mean, come now. 5 overs like counted for 16 runs. I mean, really. Everything that Yanama Milan did at the start of the innings, they've now just gone and undone.
Real, literally. Even shot selection, man. Come on. Ah,
I want to see all of Sneyman's 6 deliveries And yeah, I mean, look at that, dude. He just didn't know what was plotting.
Yeah, the googly killed him. I don't even know why he went for that shot at the end.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You're struggling. You're not really seeing the ball. Let me try and hoik it over the top for 6. You sound like you're in an airport.
He must start one.
See, dude, there's just not too many singles here. Got to try. I mean, when was the last time we had a boundary? Must be about 4 overs.
Because I think the last time we got a boundary is when Milan got out.
Yeah. Well, like literally, I mean, I think Hendricks might have had 1. Oh, there we go. Brings out the sweet fights about. You see, ask and you shall receive. That's what we need more of. Take on. You see, also, you come to a point where if the spinner's all over you, you kind of got 2 options, don't you? You've got to let him dominate you, or you can say, you know what, let me try and go after him, and especially a leggy, because if you can go after them and disrupt their flow, I mean, their bowlers are confidence. When it's going well for them and they're finding their length, they can do anything. But if you do throw them off their length, then suddenly it can become a lot easier to bat. I mean,
but you don't want to take too much risks and lose your wicket now. That's the issue.
well, I think we need to see at least sort of one shot at an over where we try and find the boundaries. If we don't find a boundary, we're going to really struggle. Right, so what, 72 for 2?
What's the required run rate now?
They just haven't been showing it, and it's very frustrating.
Must be about
I
13,
think it's
14.
No, it's about 10, I think. 10.6.
10, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, the equation is 93 or 54. So it's all right for now, but that can just creep up so quickly is the problem. That's why we've got to try and find a boundary per over.
Getting better than this. It's time to pick up the pace, really.
Yeah, there we go. Floated outside, and there you go.
This is what I mean. Gotta pick up the pace now.
Yeah, but that's the thing, dude. Because that's the thing. If you do then suddenly go after him a bit more, that's not 2 boundaries off the over. And suddenly now he's going to know if he puts it out there, if he makes a single mistake, he's going to go for a run. So that's why you just need to create a little bit of doubt in the bowler's mind. I'll just let yourself be bullied.
How many overs did that guy bowl? 3 or 4.
He's got 3. He's got 1 left. Yeah.
They're definitely going to save the back end.
I wouldn't surprise me if they bowled him through now. Try and pick up a wicket.
Yeah, but then they're going to be left with their seamers, and that's not going to be
good. Pakistan, you probably find they've got like 4 other guys, batsmen, probably bowl leg spin and stuff like that.
Dude, next thing you know, this one is taking off the.
Yeah, taking off the gloves and just bowling googlies.
He's probably a deep leg spinner we don't even know about.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
Yeah, knew that they had to change it up now, bring back the pace going. Who is this guy? He hasn't bowled yet, is it? No.
See, now with the pace back on the ball, we've got to target these guys now.
Yeah, well, we need to be targeting going for singles, twos.
Yeah, just generally building up the run rate, because at the moment, if the run rate gets too deep, then we're going to be in trouble.
I mean, it's Miller time.
Hey, Killer Miller! Hey, Killer Miller! I mean, he did say before the tour began, he said that he wants to bring calmness and experience to the side.
I don't
So,
want calmness. I want Killer Miller.
dude, I don't mind calmness if calmness means lots of runs. Wouldn't mind a calm 50 or 30 balls, you know?
I want a deep ass like 30 or 11 balls, just
Just quick fast.
quick fast. I want the next 10 balls he plays just to go for bounce.
Yeah. We need that big over. I mean, old Rizwan had an over where he took Dalla off for 20.
But it's dollar.
I know, but that's the thing. We need that over. Like 91 or 52 is deep, but if you suddenly make that like 70 or 46, 48, 46, you know, the whole different equation. Yeah, you see, it's just too many singles. You've got to find a boundary here. Boundary people. 3 singles is fine, but now the boundary time.
Your hack, my mom's hack that my dad is a Zoom meeting. What's it? Zoom is live.
Out for that stuff, dude. I'm just worrying about my sport these days. Settle in, watch my cricket. It's all that life's about.
Well, I mean, a really nice thing is that it looks like CSA wants to get rolling with amateur sports in terms of club level again. So
Look, I mean, I'm out of action, so it doesn't mean much to me. But the fans will get what they want in a couple months when I'm fully fit again.
I see you with the GoPro out on the pitch.
Live stream my innings, dude. We would strap a GoPro to the head, go out and face some fast bowling. This is the point. We're looking at that whole worm. You see how like we were above and we were in command, and now we've just slipped below. So we need to step up this run rate.
The worm is telling a very grim story for us right now. I would have expected Reza to be better against the spinners.
I just think his pace of his innings has been a little bit off. He's taken a long time to get going. Played a couple of good shots, but just hasn't really kicked on. I mean, 28 of 26, it's slow. We need to see more. Dude, that's just sand. Like full of sawdust coming out, and that's just sand.
No, I think that's sawdust.
Yeah, it doesn't look like sawdust. It looks like sand.
Terrible for that. That's
Oh, it's time. It's time. I mean, this is such a crucial part in the game where we need these batsmen to kick on. We need. Yeah. You see, and that's the problem. I mean, really, after all that, you've had the chance now, you've got. And that's the problem, because now, when you lose a wicket now in a time where the game is in the balance, I mean, 83 for 3 now, and it's just. Now the pressure.
Dude, thingy, Clausen's coming in now at least, so it will.
The Carl's going to have to go from the get go here. That run rate, I mean, it's above 10.
Oh, dude, Hendricks is there. He's seen the ball. He's pick up the
28 of 26. He's not seeing the ball that easily. It's been a hard fought innings as opposed to a free flowing one.
And the thing is, as well, he didn't also have a great momentum one day cup.
Uh-uh. Archer's getting sacked in the morning.
Dude, it's Smith and Friends. Dude. He's not getting sacked.
We're gonna get cancelled, dude. YouTube's gonna cancel us for calling CSA out. All right, Captain Clausen.
I still can't believe he got named captain.
Well, I suppose who else is going to be? It was either going to be him or Miller.
Killer Miller, dude. Killer Miller.
Killer Miller was captaining in the IPL before they sacked him.
Dude, I'm thinking Hendricks has to pick up the pace mode.
Well, that's the thing, dude. You can't get a start like this and then not. And if he goes out now, then it's a waste because he's taken his time, taken up a lot of balls, and hasn't really made them count.
I mean, I think his innings is looking a bit of a waste right now.
I mean, to be fair, Rizwan was also pretty. He didn't have a great strike rate, but then he had that one over where he scored that 20, and after that, he just kicked in. So now this is where Hendricks has to. I mean, he's 26 balls into his innings. You know, you've got to be kicking on now.
That's too much for, what he's on. That's 30 off 28. Dude, I feel like in T20 you at least need to be going at a 130 strike rate.
Yeah. Dude, you can't be just going for singles all the time, dude. It's not. I mean, 30 runs off 28 balls is not good enough. He's taken too many balls up here. He has to do it now. He has to accelerate because if he doesn't accelerate and we come up short, it's come down to him because he took up a lot of deliveries. I mean, Yanom Milan added 44 runs for about half the amount of deliveries.
No, he needs to pick up the pace now.
Literally, I mean, Yanom Milan faced about the same amount of deliveries as Hendricks has, and he scored 44 runs.
Yeah,
it's a whole different scenario. Dark Sneyman taking up 6 runs for his 6 balls for his 2 runs. Dude. Miller, 6 runs of 10, dude. And we've got strike rates of 107, 33, and 60.
Dude, Sneyman looked like the classic village cricketer coming in after a heavy night out and he's seeing a leggy.
He just didn't see anything, really.
You didn't know what to play. You didn't know what to do.
I don't think he picked one delivery.
Just too many singles, man. It's getting so boring.
I mean, the required run rate is 11. We kind of need to... Dude, why do we feel like we always do this? We always wait too late to try and go. I mean, our run rate's less than 7. I mean, we need 11. But we haven't even really seen people... I mean, we haven't seen Hendricks do something to really try and get the scoring runs. He's just knocking it around all the time.
There's too many singles, man. If he doesn't get a boundary in the next couple of balls, man, it's just a waste.
Well, there's 2 things here. Because if he goes on to go and score big and suddenly accelerates and wins the match, it's a perfectly crafted innings. But if he goes out here, it's a waste of an innings because he's taken too many balls up.
Just 29 balls, dude. He's wasting deliveries here on singles. We need an over to go for 20. Right now, it doesn't even look like it's going to go for 10.
And I mean, there's 7 overs after this. So, I mean, if there's going to be that one big over, it needs to kind of come soon. Otherwise, by the time we have that big over, it's not going to matter.
Too many ways. When did you say our required run rate is? 11?
11, yeah. Almost 11 and a half now. Literally, like 11 on the dot that we need, and then 7.
Someone has to take the initiative here.
Literally. And this needs to go for a boundary. We've had, 5 singles? See, now 5 singles is not is 6 singles isn't good enough. But if this goes for a boundary and that's only 9 off the over, that's fine. But that's what we need. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of ingenuity. That's the stuff.
So what, now Clausen has to play aggressive?
Well, apparently,
I think Hendricks took the whole staying in and seeing out the ball a little too literal from Rizwan's innings.
Yeah, look, 78-42. I mean, it's not the worst equation in the world. I've seen worse. But it's just...
it's chaseable. We don't have the batsman in the shit to be chasing this.
But the thing is, Hendricks has to accelerate now. He's taken a long time. So if he doesn't accelerate, he doesn't kick on, then it's just a waste. If he does, then you can talk about it being well paced,
You realize you've only hit 1-6.
I know. I mean, we just want to hit a span.
Come on, boys. So tired. Just need to get moving.
Another single from Hendricks. Mate, you've got to go.
I don't think they're even putting, another factor in is putting the field under pressure, running that hard first.
That's the thing. I know, trying to push for 2 or maybe trying to... That's the thing, if you run a couple of 2s, you've got to be going at 8, 9 and over at the moment. Just try and sort of get up towards 11. I'm not saying you have to go 11 over every over now, You've got
but I mean, these guys are fit enough where they should be running the first single hard, respect of where the ball lands, but run the first single hard, look to get the second, because that puts pressure on the fielder.
To be honest, at the moment it looks like the plan is to kind of get 4 singles off the... I mean, you get 4 singles at the beginning of the over and then have 2 to try and find a boundary. I would prefer to try and find the boundary early in the over. Well, then that's fine. So it looks like... So Jofra Archer has apparently been ruled out of the second test. See, now run hard. There's 2 there. There. Hey, we ran a 2. We ran a 2, dude. Scenes. We ran a 2.
Yeah, but that's putting pressure on the fielders. That's something we need to do.
The thing is, if you run 2 2s, or 3 2s, and then you run 3 singles, then suddenly that can be, 6 can become 9 and over. So, you're gonna knock it around. Try and knock it to a gap and really push for the 2s. I mean, required run rate is... There we go. That's it. See, this is what I'm saying. It looks like the plan is to get sort of 4 singles and then try and go for the boundary, which is fine as long as you get the boundary.
I've actually noticed that as one of our innings, there hasn't been a lot of innovative shots.
That's the first time we've seen. I mean, I suppose we saw a reverse sweep the last over, and now suddenly we're seeing that. But I mean, during the Pakistan innings, we saw like 2 or 3 paddles.
Because literally, that's T20. The batsmen need to move around the crease, kind of get in the bowler's head and try to go for these crazy shots. Especially now when Hendricks is seeing the ball.
Oh, there we go. That's it. Yeah, you see, well done.
This is so much better.
That's what I was saying. Like, it could look... It's one of those innings where it can go either way, because it could look really well constructed if he goes on to win us the game. But if he doesn't, then you'll sit there saying he took too long to get going,
Look, even if he gets his 50, I'm still going to say it's pretty slow.
He has to be there till the end of the game. He has to carry us now. He's by taking all those balls, he's kind of saying that he's going to take responsibility. He's going to try and get us over the line.
He's playing with a dangerous line. Yeah. Dangerous.
So you'd rather be like Yanniman, dude. You just go and bang your runs up front and be like, right, cheers, chaps. I done my bits. Well, that works. We'll take that.
If you get a 30.
So this is the over we've been calling for. That's 3 4s, eh? So that's 12. How much was the over? Is about 15 of the over there, eh?
Yeah.
It's amazing how those boundaries, suddenly 47 or 35, you look at someone who's like, yo, it's not a bad extracted. But he's got to stay there now. He can't afford to go out. He's left us with a lot of work to do.
Clausen needs to support him.
But Klaassen can't afford to really stick around. He's also going to have to go to strike rate of 130. Borderline strike rate of 150. You see now we're climbing back to that worm. But I mean, see how also they had a spike towards the end there. So
Yeah, no, it was a good way to end the over as well. Needed that definitely. But we're not hitting sixes.
we're the maximums, dude. We're the maximums.
Oh no, this phone is coming down.
You see. As soon as they're starting to look good, now we're dusted. Oh my living. You see, and now we're
Is that Plum though?
Go upstairs. You might as well. Yeah, terrible review in the first innings. I can't understand why we reviewed it though. It was Rizwan, but I mean,
surely he takes it upstairs. That's
yeah, he has gone upstairs. Have a look. Hang on, who gave it out? Was it Alim?
I think so.
Yeah, we're in trouble. Oh, that's going down. That's going down. He's been saved.
Yeah, it's going down. Why do they look like they're standing so close to each other?
Right.
Nah, he's not out here.
Nah, it looks like it's going down.
Yeah. It's always the thing with leggies as well.
Why are they looking at Ultra Edge?
Yeah. Going down.
Go to ball tracking. It's not
it
out.
It's Alan, dude.
That's his first one, eh?
Yeah.
Cheers, Alim. You're fired. You're fired, mate. Retire now. You see, you should have retired when he was on top, dude. Innings break. You should have just called it. Hung up the hat. Nice.
Okay, so now these oaks need to kick on from here. He's got a lifeline in the hole.
Yeah, he's got to go for it. He's got to go big here. We need to see balls disappearing.
I think we should see off this leggy.
You've got to, dude. Unfortunately, you can't. I mean, you see, if you let him see out, I mean, the run rate currently is sitting at 10, almost 11. You see him out, then suddenly it's going to be right up back towards 12.
No, but we can chase. Like I said, we can chase the seabirds.
Yeah, thank you. Come on. The ball needs to disappear.
Because either we see him out or we try to go for it. And next thing you know, we go for shots and we get out, and it's just a whole disaster.
Yeah, but I mean, if we only take singles now, you only get 5 singles with over. When you need 11, it's not ideal.
Well, luckily we do have Clausen, who is a good player of spin, so hopefully he can do something.
This whole punching and running through for the single is just pissing me off.
He's trying to build an innings here, Steve.
Dude, but that's the thing. There's just no intent. Where's the intent?
That's another thing, intent, yo.
I mean, we've had two runs in the first 3 balls here. So you found the gap. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Good intent.
Oh, see, but that's the thing. You do class of 12 or 7. That's intent.
What are you trying to say about Hendricks?
And until the last over, there was no intent.
He's like I said. He looked like he was just trying to find his way into the inning. It's just getting too late. Boring, man.
2 balls left. Got to find a boundary in the next 2 balls here. Our strike. I mean, our run rate's going up, but not quick enough really yet.
I wish I could bowl ladies actually.
Oh, yes, jeepers. Okay, this needs to disappear here. It's a big ball. I know it's the last ball, but you kind of need to try and find a boundary here.
Yeah. Can't play any silly shots to try and get out. That's an issue.
Just walk down the pitch and bang him, dude. Oh, shit. Nah, it's not out. He didn't hit that. He wasn't good enough to hit that.
Yeah, but dude, Pakistan and they're appealing this whole series.
Oh, we know. Yeah, we know the chat. We know the chat. More to the point, that's a dot ball. So,
Yeah, true.
well, they've gone upstairs. Wild.
Kinda, hey, it doesn't look like he hit it.
We're very surprised this is out, to be honest. I don't think it didn't look really like he'd hit it, you know. So, here we go. Nah, he misses it. Nah, there's no issues there. Is it Alim?
Yeah, I think so.
Go to Ultra Edge, it will show you nothing. Show you nothing.
It was a bit of a interesting shot to play in law school.
I said it needs to find a boundary, so don't mind it. But the problem is it's a dot ball. There's two dot balls. Kind of nullifies the boundary. Yeah, you see, it's not out. Can we carry on with the game, please? Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move.
Okay, now it is time to bring on the seamers. It's time for us to accelerate. It's time for us to win this game. A big over is coming.
Well, it has to come. I mean, we've only got 5 overs left, so that big over needs to come soon. Dude, why are we even looking at LBW?
Okay?
Why are we even looking at LBW?
I don't know why they would look at LBW so
It's
stupid.
bizarre. Okay, dude, this has to be a big over.
Who is coming on? Who is coming? Ah! My God.
Where's Shaheen, dude? We need Shaheen. Shaheen was disappearing earlier. 56 or 30, this needs to be a big over. Oh, yeah. Somehow,
And more than second leg's going to bowl it short.
Yeah, I must drop it short. You must see if he can pull. No, he went for 29 in his first 2 overs, 28 in his first 2 overs. He's going 14. That's him. That's him. Surely you've got to go after him and go big here.
He's just still punting the ball for a single. It's just not.
Oh, that's been pulled and to the boundary. Fantastic. Well done, Captain Klaassen. And this is the problem, man. Come on. You've left it so late. And I mean, now what? Now a batsman walks in. Okay, cheers, mate. You've got 5 overs. We need 12 and over, basically. Good luck. Good luck. I'll go for it. You know, it's such bad game management.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say this game's a riot talk, but I mean, right now it's pretty.
Well,
who's in now?
It's definitely Pakistan on top. You got to wonder about Klaassen as the captain. I mean, really.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I would have liked to see Miller as the
Not
captain.
Miller did much, to be honest. It all
Yeah,
comes down to Reza. He ate up a lot of balls, so he needs to do the job now. I suppose you've got
100%.
Dwayne Pretorius in now.
Yeah, but we're giving him 5 overs to try and help Reza chase this.
Why isn't Dele in? I don't understand this. I don't understand South African cricket. Why? Why?
Oh my word. You know what this reminds me of? When Australia in the one game against India, they had their ODIs and they put Stark in at number three. Or I think five or something like
Well,
that.
we did that with Dwayne Pretorius and he scored a 50.
Yo, but like now we're bringing in.
I don't understand this call. I don't understand.
Brad just sent me a message saying we're so dark.
Oh, well, he was, yeah, well, I mean, when you're sending out Pet Laquire here instead of Dwayne Pretorius, I just don't understand the reasoning.
What's the point of bringing in Maguire though? It's not good. Oh,
I'm bringing up the stats. We can do a stats comparison here.
dude, all we're gonna do is just go for singles now, and then it's just
See, I'm
watch.
sorry. T20 internationals, Pet Laquire, high score of 27, average of 9, a strike rate of 106. Or we can bring in Dwayne Pretorius, who has a high score of 77, an average of 33, and a strike rate of 168. I don't understand this. Why would you send it in?
Yeah.
Even at domestic level, Pet Laquire's strike rate's 115 and his average is 11. Dwayne Pretorius' average is 21 and a strike rate of 141. Why is Pet Laquire batting? Why would you not send in Dwayne Pretorius?
Watch. Pitchboy is gonna go for a big shot and he's gonna go out
I
sometime.
just don't
Watch.
understand. That's on the coaching staff, though. That is all on the coaching staff. To make that decision
Yeah.
is a joke.
Yeah.
And as for this freaking working around for a single, Hendricks,
This is such an empty 50.
12, as I said, now we're well over 12 in innings. We've got somebody who doesn't have a strike rate over 100. I mean, it's such bad game management.
This is such an empty 50 though. Like, it's done nothing for us.
Well, it
The
needs
context.
he needs to step it up here because he's seen too. I mean, at this stage, to be rotating the strike like that at this stage, he's got to go for it. 50 or 38 is, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just it was the situation we needed him to go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's an empty 50 because he's got the 50. It's a well played innings, but in the context of the game, he took two.
Japers and Dile.
Dude, he's faced 11 dot balls. 11.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. So those are just if half, I mean if half of them are even singles,
About
even if those six of them were singles, 56 or 38 is a whole different scenario. So is that why they sent out Adila to ride the luck?
yeah, but on Dile,
Oh my! I mean, what kind of shot was that? I just
comical.
I just cannot understand how you don't send someone who's basically got twice the average and a much better strike rate. I mean, in T20 internationals, I don't understand.
Well, like you said, now that goes down to coaching staff there.
I mean,
Otherwise,
what is this? Are they saying that they're backing Andila Petlaquire to be the all-rounder at the World Cup? Therefore, let's go see if he can finish a match. That can be that's the only reason I can think that he's come out ahead of Dwayne Pretorius.
but you can't say Patrick Wire is a better all rounder than
No,
Tory.
well, I mean, as I said, look at the stats. He's got an average of 9 in 27 tests. He's batted 15 times in an average of 9. He's scored 92 runs in his T20 career. Dwayne Pretorius has batted 6 times as 135 runs and a high score of 77 and an average of 33.
And I even remember that game where he got that 77. He bat flipping wow.
Dude, Dwayne Pretorius got 4 domestic T20 50s. Petlaquire's got none. I just don't understand why you would send in Petlaquire ahead of him. It beggars belief.
Well, he at least needs to deal with this right now. Fucking freebie. Like surely as a coaching staff, like you've got to make better decisions on call like this.
No,
Because when it comes down to it, imagine we're in a T20 semi-final, and now we're in the same situation, and we do this.
no, but that's all just weird, dude. Make our scoreboard a little bigger. There we go. That's more like it. That's more like it.
No, that's not justifying them at all, Steve.
No, I mean, you can't justify a decision. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you could go and put in a 30, 40 match-winning performance, I would still say at the time it was the wrong decision to send him in.
Yo.
But as I said, the only justification for me is the thinking of maybe let's see if he can do it. Because it doesn't make sense to do it.
True. Big now. This has to be our big over.
Yeah.
This
We've got to go after
over.
Shaheen. Well, every over's going to be big over really now. Come, Hendricks has to step up here. He's been there for a long, long time.
But like you said, well, I mean, you probably said this like 10 balls ago, but
Yeah, I know. But also, you got to wonder how he's only managed to face like 38 balls. And he's been there since the beginning. It's the 17th over, and he's only faced 38 balls.
Should be seeing the ball better
than
anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the point because he's been rotating strike. He's been kind of getting himself to the other end all the time.
But why is he trying to take into the innings now?
I think that's the main frustration. As you said, 11 dot balls, and then it's been rotating the strike too much. He needs to take more sort of onus on himself, and then you guys only play paddles and stuff like that.
Well, the paddle, it's the only shot he's got in his locker right now.
I'm trying to find his innings here. See, 8-4s at the moment. Dude, I said that didn't come off. I was about to rage.
I was about to ask you.
I mean, he went so early there.
Premeditated. Can't nap on it.
That.
No.
It's not good enough at this stage. I mean, we've left so much to do. We always do this. It's doable, but we always do this. We always leave so much to do at the end. That's it. 25 of 18, even 30 of 18, you can kind of go. 37 of 18 is a big ask.
Yeah. I mean,
well, you can't afford 8 dot ball. I mean, every over has to go big here.
Yeah.
We need 12 and over. We're looking at 2 maximums, 3 boundaries and over.
Don't talk about sixes right now.
That's the thing. We just haven't seen enough of it, to be honest. I mean, we've seen what? The entire innings, I reckon we've seen 2 sixes. Power hitters. Where's Marco Maria? Send that guy over there. That man hits a very long ball.
Yeah, we literally can't face any dots now. Now it's just balls to the walls. Oh, another thing, dude, most of the time I've seen these folks drink tea.
I know. That's what I was saying. The entire tour has been us watching people drink tea.
And noughts and crosses, don't forget. That's
noughts and crosses and tea. The entire tour. It's been the weirdest thing ever.
not forget about the advertising of the 500.
And the 500 board, which still is yet to be hit.
Dude, Milan was so close.
Yeah, he kept going 3 times. He kept going for it. He's like, I want my $500. I want it. I've got to get it.
He's just thinking about that nice holiday to the Kruger.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to win. I need to make some cash.
I know he's got 2 more games to do.
You see, dude. Single off the first. Right. Visa. Hitler has done his job. He's on 13 or 6. You're the senior batsman. 41 deliveries you faced. You've got to take us home here. Because if you don't, it's all on you, mate. Look, it's not all on him. I mean, Miller and Klaassen needs to have done better. And Jacques Neyman looked terrible.
Yeah, well, Jacques Neyman couldn't read the ladies. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, 2 of 6 is a joke. But Hendricks needs to take us home, yeah. It kind of felt like he's kind of deflected responsibility. You know, I mean, you saw Klaassen going at almost 200. Now Peter Kraus going at 200. If you're going to be an opening batsman, take this deep. You've got to try and get yourself on strike, and you've got to take responsibility now. He's got to be going for it. He's got to be thinking, I'm going to try and hit 16 runs with the next 5 balls here. That's not good enough. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I would drop him based on that.
He's out, man. There's no way he made this goal.
What did he just do? No, I mean, you can't do that. As an international cricketer, in this situation, you cannot do that. That is an absolute joke.
Oh, I'm so scared. They're going to take it upstairs. It's going to be out. The tourist is going to have to come in and he will pick going to say.
Dude, that is such a joke. How can you do that?
Oh, no, listen. What are you thinking?
I cannot actually understand that he's just done that.
That is horrendous, dude. What are you doing? Oh, get off it, man.
That might be the worst thing I've seen from South Africa this year.
Dude, this just strengthens my point of him scoring an empty 50.
Yeah, I mean, took the game deep, and then you do that. I mean, that's amateur hour, proper amateur hour.
Don't worry, we got Pretorius.
He should have been in a lot, yeah. But I mean, 13.5. Why do we do this? Such bad. This is what I said. Why were we chasing? We are such bad chasers.
Gosh, I still can't believe that. Pretorius, my savior.
I mean, how's this for a thing? Right, chap, you've got 2.5 overs. Go forth and score us 32 runs.
You probably walked out there and was like, here we go.
Yeah, like, cheers, mate. Appreciate you.
More.
You? Yeah, you see.
Sure, yes, no fielder.
You see.
Yep.
My guy, Dwayne, dude. Back to Dwayne.
It's short, dude. First ball. Dude, I rate Pretorius could open for us.
He's definitely
dude.
bad in the top top order, to be honest. He hits the ball so cleanly. That's what they were doing when he was at the tourney at Polar Rocks, dude. Faf was saying, right, go off.
Dude, he can definitely open batting. Get him and Quinton to open.
Yeah. Cream that.
Yo, that got chemist. Mm-hmm. Ah, come on. Dude, he's fine.
Left ourselves
Just got
too
him
much.
5 balls.
Yeah, I was going straight for 4.
This has to be a boundary.
Well, you can. I mean, this is the problem: is that you can't leave your middle order, especially lower order now, to do this kind of job. You know.
Oh, no.
We've got to be getting. I mean, this needs to disappear. Oh,
No, there's a
yeah, I
field.
thought so.
No.
And you can't even really blame him because what are you supposed to do? You've come out here, you need 14 runs and over, so you've got to try and do that, and there we go. And that's the problem because we didn't negotiate the middle sections.
To be fair, he didn't play a bad shot.
No, that's what I'm
Just didn't have
saying.
to
I mean,
wait.
you definitely can't call him out there because that's not batting and just leaving too much for the end. And we always do it. We consistently leave too much for the end.
So the equation's just looking so grim now. 31 of 13. Oh my god.
And now I've got Bjorn Fontaine. I mean, really.
This man can hold a bat, dude. I
Yeah, but
think.
man's not going to hit at 14 runs per over here.
We just need Pretorius to go off, to be
I
honest.
mean, we're heading towards three runs a ball at the moment.
He needs to take a single at the end of this over and just.
Well, what? Yeah, you got to take a single here and get yourself on strike and then just go for it and try and hit a 20 run over. $139 for 6. Bleak reading as South African supporters. Bleak reading.
I mean, okay, Pretorius. Oh. Have you heard any news? Well, I saw we sent a letter back to Australia about how disappointed we are in all of
We
that.
want the cash, dude. I don't want disappoint. I want cash. They want reparations. Oh my goodness! Now Fortaine's injured. I mean, icing on the cake here, really.
Is that cough, eh? Dude, this old.
29 off 12, dude. 15 per over, basically. Or else this needs to just be for like 20.
Dude, there's no way he actually like pulled something up. He just got in.
I mean, come on. Your first single you run and you pull something. It's not gone well at all. It kind of sums up the day, though, doesn't it?
So, Steve, predictions? How much are we losing this month? 10 runs?
Yeah, I mean, 10 runs would be a half decent effort, you know. Hey, we're gonna come back to Junior's catch. If we lose by
Let's
5, we're gonna go back to the catch. And if we had held on to that, we could have won this game.
see.
I mean, now we've got an injured Fortain who's gonna try and have to smash us out of the block holes. I mean, really.
Now the problem is all they're going to do is just pull Yorkers.
Dude, what actually happens here?
It looked like he rolled his ankle, but like you're still able to run on it.
I like how he says no stop, and then Dwayne's like, shut up, dude.
That's what I'm saying. He rolled his ankle and was like, I need to go. He's like, pay.
Dwayne was like, I don't care about your ankle, dude. I want to win this match. And I run. Like we're not winning this game with. I mean, really. I mean, the top ball there, 29 off 11. I mean, we need 3 a ball almost. It's just ridiculous.
I think a big issue as well is we just didn't really look like we were hunting for boundaries besides Malone.
That was the problem. It took too long. And not enough sixes, not enough clearing the boundary. We've got to be more. We've got to be better there. Because that's another frustrating thing. Much like the England series, you look at this game and think this was a winnable game. Just for me, it's the intent. It's one thing if you're losing wickets, but the intent is there and you're really trying. But I just think that we negotiated the game really, really poorly. The entire chase was really poor. I mean, we'll take a bit of luck there. Take a little bit of luck over the top there for 4.
Oh, that's what we need.
But also sometimes you have a bit of luck if you're willing to take that risk.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's nothing else we can really do now. God, gosh.
Well, that's the first boundary. We need about 5 of them, to be fair.
This game's just been such a disaster.
Yeah, and he misses it. Yeah, he sees the problem.
Just was in.
It's too much. I mean, 3 runs a ball.
Luck, to be honest.
Yeah, but the problem is that you're only going to get luck. I mean, you're not going to get luck just holding the ball and going for the signal. Dude, but that pisses me off. I hate it when tail enders come in. You're not seeing the ball. You haven't been there for a long time, and now we must try and get fancy and try and paddle and fucking reverse sweep and shit like that. Dude, if you're just gonna stand your ground and try hit the ball, at least you're giving yourself a chance. I mean, that's not that the chance of that coming off is like next to 0.
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't hardly seen the ball, he's currently injured. See, get a nice little edge from the Yorker and take a boundary.
I mean, I think coming into the last over, if we can anything below 20.
This has to go for a boundary. If he can somehow find a boundary here, if he can find a 6 from here, I'd say 50 in the last over. Anything can happen. You need a big effort, but anything can happen.
Yeah, literally.
But you're gonna need a boundary here at least. 17's a big ask.
But Steve, remember what I said earlier about those 10 extra runs?
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Junior.
He low-key costed us.
It's 2 bound. I mean, it's that one which he knocked on for 4, and also Jacques' name. Oh, hello. Just single. Oh, yes, go! I am busted. He touched it. I'm telling you, he touched it. Go and check. He touched it.
Yeah, they look so hacked at him as well.
Well, imagine he butchered that and that went for 4.
They look so hacked at him. Yo, they got 2 there. Hey, yo. Are they not going to check this? Ah, 2 runs. Okay, 1906. Doable.
Yeah, I mean, look. Boundaries. Well, it's Dwayne. Come on, I back the Dwayne.
No. This game's done.
I mean, there we go. That's it. That's it. Finished there.
Yep. Well, that was a game.
And that's it. You said there's 10 extra runs. Massive. I mean, 8 or 5, you're backing us. So, I look at two moments, two poor fielding moments. Like when I said when Jark's name and pushed that for the boundary, that's 4. When Junior Dollar dropped
Yeah.
that catch and it went for 4, that's 8 runs. 10 or 5 is also a different thing. But also, we just need to be more aggressive. And I think Reza Hendricks has to take a lot of blame here for the way he went about it. And I just think that he didn't take enough responsibility.
Sure, but I just don't know why he took so long to get into his innings.
I know.
No, it's,
And then
I
and then
understand.
and then after finally accelerating to get run out like that is disgraceful.
Oh, that was actually very terrible. Yo.
So I think the only person who can really hold their head high is Donovan Milan, really.
Oh, yo.
Got us in the front foot, did what he was supposed to do.
Pakistan have also been very disciplined in their bowling. We must give that to them as
Oh yeah,
well.
and I mean this over now, it's been fantastic.
Mm.
Let's
Not a
move
lot of
away. Yeah,
extras.
Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne.
Oh, that's the 6.
Yeah, Dwayne. I said he
Yeah.
should have come in earlier. This man
Game's
can
still done
bat.
though.
This man can bat.
See, all I'm saying is with those 10 extra runs,
That's the thing,
we should
though.
win the
Not even
game.
10. I'm going to say 8 because of those 2 fielding mistakes. Cannot afford to make those mistakes at this level.
We
Take
would be in
away
the
8 runs
position.
and we need 3 and 3.
We would be in the position now where we should win this game.
Right, so do we back Bjorn to just blast 2 6s here? 6 and a 4.
Dude, 6 and a 4, dude. That's all
6
we
and a
need.
4. Blast it. Ball no ball.
There hasn't actually been a no ball in this innings, eh?
No, I don't think they bowled any extras. I think they bowled like 2 extras.
Oh, come on. Come on, Forte. We back you.
Well, there's the 4.
Dude,
You see, if we had not conceded those 8 runs, we would have won. We could have won.
or even just that 4 from the drop catch.
Yeah. Junior.
Imagine that isn't a 4.
There's no ways
And
he hits a
now
6
we're
here to win the
expecting
game. Dude, there's no ways.
no ball 4.
No ball
No
4.
ball 4 in the
Super over, dude. Come on, just do it. Do it for the bands.
I don't know. He's just going to bowl a Yorker.
Well, that's all he has to do. All he has to do is find his line.
Yeah.
Cheers, Bjorn. I know you're injured, but
Oh, it takes so long to get this last ball in.
dude, just set up your field. All you have to do is find your length and you're sorted.
You 80 double steps, eh?
Yeah, imagine balls are wide, dude.
Imagine.
Come on, come on, come on. Oh, you bastard.
No, that's me. No, that's me with this game. Done. No. TV's off. TV's off. I'm done. Never been so hacked about a game before because somebody can't take his catches.
See, that's the thing. Is that I mean you look at it and you'll say that's a look, it's a first string Pakistan side and our second team almost beat them, but like come on, it was there, we should have won that game, it was there.
It was there until those 2 drop catches.
Yeah. Ah, frustrating. Another one.
Dude, Hendricks 50 almost looked like a game winner.
Well, I mean, literally. Can you imagine? Bjorn for 10 hits of a 6. Reza Hendricks masterclass leads the chase.
Yeah, that would have been the title.
But that's the thing, dude. These games are won on small margins. 2 drop catches, 2 boundaries which could have been saved. Maybe being a bit more aggressive. And send in Bjorn and send in Dwayne Torres earlier.
Yeah.
So what changes are you making for next game?
Andre Berger straight in.
For Junior?
Yeah, Junior Starston.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Let's see.
You got John Smuts for Jacques Snyman. I mean, it's rough to drop him after one game.
Is John Joe in the? Did he travel?
Pretty sure he's there.
Just check, because if he didn't travel, then.
Got the squad here somewhere. Yeah, he is there. Dude, like, what's looks like Pike from Bullion doing? We've lost Beaks. Right, well, there it is. Pakistan winning by 3 runs. So not the start we would have liked, but look, what can you do, eh? Sometimes when it's not your day, it's just not your day. But thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in. We will be back live this weekend for the second T20, which is on Saturday, same time, same place. We'll also be doing the one on Sunday. So 2 more live streams coming up this weekend. Do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys very